believe that as a woman of color and as a single mother of 3, it is incredibly important that I be appointed ambassador to Italy. That's how this works, right? That's like why I'm here. I've never been, I'm dying to go. And guys, I just really need a break. I know it's not the priority tonight, but just think about it. I am actually here because I have known the vice president for a long time, and I want to tell you a story about one of the first times I ever met her. She wasn't Madam Vice President then. She was my senator, and we were filming a video where she came to my home to cook dosas, a South Indian dish. Yes, it's not every day that a senator comes over, and I was pretty nervous.
Hey, y'all, I'm back.
When she arrived, we immediately hit it off. We talked about the love we have for our moms, who had both passed away from cancer. Both of our mothers were immigrants from India who came to America and committed their lives to serving others. My mother, Swati, became an OBGYN. Thank you. Kamala's mother, Shaimala, became a scientist with a PhD who dedicated her life
and
to
you're back as well, Deborah.
Cancer.
Nice to see you. So I went to the store and I got snacks. I had some cashews. I got 2 Red Bulls. I'm ready for tonight. But I was not about to sit here for like 3 or 4 hours with all those other people. So I said, I'm gonna wait till we get some interesting people or important people, because I'm wasting my time here. I don't want to be listening to all that propaganda. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And like I said earlier, it was kind of like I was scaring myself because I was like, damn, do people actually really believe this, you know? And then, you know how you guys in the comments were like, oh, it's all theater or whatever. Anyways, so I decided to come back on when I saw Stevie Wonder. I was like, and I said it on Twitter, I said, yo, they really got Stevie Wonder blindly supporting the Democrats at the DNC right now. Like, can he not see what's happening in America right now? So more celebrities, like Teddy said in the other streams, more pandering, more celebrities. And then they brought Kenan Thompson from SNL. And then my very first thought was, you got to be joking. Is this a joke? Actors, celebrities, comedians, singers, rappers. This is what is this a typical DNC? Because this is the very first time that I'm watching it. So I don't know if this is typical of what the DNC does. I've only watched Trump rallies, you know, ever since they started, because he always said something that was, you know, like not crazy, but like surprising, like, oh, shocking. You know, Trump had that shock factor, and it would make you think, and it would make you do research, and it would make you feel like, okay, maybe this is possible. Trump wants to close the border. Trump wants to do this. Trump wants to do, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of felt like, okay, he'll do what he says, because I felt more relatable to somebody like Trump than I do to anybody who's in the DNC right now. Like I told you guys before, I don't like or trust like comedians or actors or none of that. I don't follow the pop culture. I don't follow Hollywood culture anymore. Like I'm done with that. So and that's the same demographic that they literally want at the DNC, and that's what makes people clap and roar and cry, and it gets them all like emotionally riled up. Really? Like, damn, I guess I kind of grew up in that way. Like, I don't look up to celebrities. I don't look up to anybody anymore. Like, all of that is fake at the end of the day. They're actors. Like, duh. They're acting, you know? Deborah says, Kamala had a rapper in Atlanta rally. Peeps left after Kamala started talking. Yeah. And I even said that it is pandering. You know, once again, Teddy, I'm so glad Teddy came on that stream and he was giving that perspective from an Englishman, from somebody who's not even, you know, from America, because it's so true. And I said the exact same thing with Jimmy on that live. I said, I'm not even black, and that was offensive to me. They brought up Megan Thee Stallion, then they brought up Quavo, Like, what are we doing here? And of course, it's Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? But you couldn't bring any Black businessmen. You couldn't bring entrepreneurs. You couldn't bring any of the maybe Black millionaires who can give pointers, who can help the young Black men succeed. No, you have Megan Thee Stallion singing, rapping a song that is literally about degeneracy. Like, is that the message you want to continue giving to them? I guess so, because they want them stuck. They want them uneducated. They want them continuing to just twerk and rap their way into life, when in the real world, it doesn't work that way. And they only got there through evil stuff, like how the Illuminati was mentioned last time, or I've heard always like those phrases of like selling your soul to the devil and stuff like that to become famous or whatever. That's a whole nother conspiracy and rabbit hole to dive into. So I'm not gonna do that tonight. But in the very last stream, if you guys remember the comments from Empath Lady, and I told her, how many red pills you want me to take? Like, I'm choking on red pills, right? And I told her, send me an email. So she sent me a really good email, two actually. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I see where she's coming from now. And I told her, she gave me her phone number, and I sent her an email back today, and I told her, well, next week I can have like the mental clarity to go over this subject, because this week, with this going on, and then I have like homeschooling co-ops that I'm going to attend tomorrow. And it's just like the rest of the weekend, I'm going to be recuperating from all the social activities that I'm having in real life, because I'm so introverted that I have to recover. If I'm going to talk to people and talk to strangers, I have to recover. And I was just on Joe and Fran's show when I ended the stream. And that's exactly what I told them. I was like, I spoke to 3 strangers last Thursday for the first time in 10 years, because I don't talk to strangers. It was very like traumatic for me after not being a Jehovah's Witness anymore. I don't speak to strangers. And that's how bad my social skills are in real life, where I'm just like such a homebody. I'm so introverted that was the first time that I've spoken to strangers for more than 10 minutes about something non-religious in the last 10 years. Like, that's how bad. So I have to recover. And I was recovering in bed for 3 days after that, until that Sunday I went to church, and that was my next social event. So it's like I have to plan my social events with the recovery in mind, because I know that I'm going to be talking to people, and I don't do that. I don't talk to people or strangers. I only talk to people that I know, or my cousins who don't shun me, and then you guys online. That's it. I don't be talking to strangers in real life. So I do know that I'm going to be recovering, because tomorrow I'm going to be picked up, and we're going to go to the library again, and I'm going to have a great day. I could tell, right? So I have to recover. San Diego, hey. I don't understand too. My now of days, 2010, working with Nick Podadich and others was different. I could only give experiences in that day, but resurrecting the San Diego, watching you. Nice, San Diego. Re-educating the political side of me to help me get ready. Nice. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so you should be able to see the link at the top, just in case anybody wants to join. And I'm going to send this to Jimmy as well, because he wants to cover a video that he did. I'm live now, so I'm texting him. Okay. So we will see about that. Okay. And I didn't see his video, so this is going to be, I'm going to watch it live with you guys. Okay, so I'll start playing this. And this time I'm going to stay here tonight. Okay, I got a Red Bull, so I'll be here.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Together, 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 let's build a brighter future for our children.
Hi, Jane.
And our grandchildren. In the Old Testament, Book of Psalms,
You know what gets me?
The scripture
that
tells us
They want to make it seem
that
like they're
weeping
so
may
like pro-America, right? Like how Gigi was saying last time with the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff like that, like he just recited. But then remember when Congress was trying to push that, I don't know if it was like what they call those things, like I guess it's a rule, so that every time they convene that they had to pledge allegiance to the American flag, right? And they were blocking that. So why are they trying to make themselves seem so American, and yet they had a problem when Congress was trying to put that forward, so that every time that they come together that they would have to do the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Like that's weird.
joy comes in the morning. Now there's only 76 days left. There are only 76 days left. We must continue to speak up. We must continue to show up. We must continue to stand up, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans. And when we do, nothing.
Oh, and when Kenan Thompson from SNL was on, they keep bringing up the Project 2025 book. And that's exactly why I wanted to cover it on my political show when I did, because I was like, Jimmy, I think we should talk about Project 2025. I think this is big enough to talk about, and we should educate before they start this bullcrap, which is exactly what they're doing. They're saying, oh, this is what Trump wants to do if he gets in office. This is the playbook that he's going to use. And then that's when Jimmy said, no, forget about that. Talk about Agenda 47. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I agree with you. But I'm like, Project 2025 is insane, in my opinion, even though it is like the Christian nationalist wish list. But I have a balanced view when it comes to that, because I'm like, obviously those things cannot actually become law because some of those things are unconstitutional. So that's why it's just so unrealistic to me that they're trying to make it seem like this is the playbook when it's not. Why don't they talk about Agenda 47? Is it that good that they don't want people to actually know what Trump really stands for? And then they're going to continue talking about, oh, he's a felon, or he's a sexist, a racist, or whatever. Name calling. They're going to start the name calling again. And I'm sick and tired of that. Like, not one graph have we seen. Not one graph, not one stat have we seen. We've just seen people coming up and giving their stories. And okay, I get that. But I mean, that's them. That's their experience. Let's talk about the whole entire country. What does that mean for the whole entire country? What they actually stand for? And like I did in the other stream about the Planned Parenthood buses outside, abortions and vasectomies outside of a political convention. What? I'm autocorrect is messing me up. Okay, so you meant to say too much nowadays in comparison on the political side of 2010, a different time and place. Okay. Matthew Nunez, welcome. Hi, Ruby. Love your vids. Keep up the great work. Love coming to you from Boston. Wow, that is so cool. Nice to see you here. You finally caught a live, or I finally caught one of your comments. They talk like Republicans for elections. They win/steal it and go back to their nasty selves. Yes, I agree. That country Mickey G singer's song "Ain't We All Americans" was good, but I like country music. Oh, yes. Yeah, she was nice. I mean, I didn't hear the song. I think I remember her wig. I was like, oh, she got good hair. I'm gonna have to watch that. Okay, I think they're a commercial. Okay, so cool. Oh, is that? Oh, that's Bill. Bill. Oh, so Jimmy said he's gonna come in like 15 minutes. So thank God, because I gotta watch. Thank God I started streaming now. Bill Clinton, everybody. This is gonna be the first time that I watch a Bill Clinton speech live. Okay, because I was born in 1996, so I never saw this man speak in my life. Jimmy, you just can't talk.
I know. I saw Bill come on. I said, oh, shit, let me jump on now.
Me too. I was just saying this is going to be the first time in my life that I see him speak, because I was born in 1996. So I've never seen this man speak.
Oh, my goodness. This will be interesting.
Thank you.
I hate that I can't see the chat.
Whoa.
I know. I'll bring up the comments.
That's fine. I just
Let me ask you something. After the last 2 days, aren't you proud to be a Democrat? And I am very grateful to the Republicans and independents that have joined us, have been up here on the stage. And I hope they feel better about it now. Because I've seen all these things that even I have to be reminded of from time to time when I get my spirits down. I love seeing the Obamas here. I love seeing President Biden. And I thought Hillary gave a great speech too. And I love seeing all these young leaders. A bunch of them are coming up after me. They look better, they sound better, and they'll be exciting. I do want to say one word about President Biden. Remember, he had an improbable turn that made him president. And we were in the middle of a pandemic and an economic crash. He healed our sick and put the rest of us back to work. And
I don't think he's talking right. Is he having like a speech?
he strengthened our alliances for peace and security. He stood up for Ukraine. He's trying desperately to get a ceasefire in the Middle East. And then he did something that's really hard for a politician to do. He voluntarily gave up political power.
no, he did not. Y'all pushed him out.
George Washington knew that, and he did it. And he set the standard
Yes, they are.
for us serving 2 terms
His
before
hands
it
are
was
shaking like
mandatory.
crazy.
It helped his legacy, and it will enhance Joe Biden's legacy. And it's a stark contrast to what goes on in the other party. So I want to thank him for his courage, compassion, his class, his service, his sacrifice. Joe Biden, thank you. And he kept the faith, and he's infected a lot of the rest of us. Now let's cut to the chase. I am too old to gild the lily. 2 days ago, I turned 78, the oldest man in my family of 4 generations. And the only personal vanity I want to assert is I'm still younger than Donald Trump. Last night, in what I thought was a very moving series of episodes, we nominated Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And just think about that. 2 leaders with all-American but still improbable life stories. It could only happen here. Their careers, after all, started in community courtrooms and classrooms. 2 leaders who spent a lifetime getting the good job done. Now, one of the things that I've noticed over my increasingly long life, that a presidential election is unique in several ways. First of all, it's the greatest job interview for the greatest job in the world. Secondly, the Constitution says we, the people, get to do the hiring. And the third thing is that every 4 years, we get to change the requirements for the job. So here's what I'm thinking, because I try to apply this in every election. Will this president take us backward or forward? Will this president give our kids a brighter future? Depends. Will this president bring us together or tear us apart? Will the president increase the peace, security, and stability and freedom that we enjoy and extend it to others as we can? We, the people, we have to make a decision about these kind of questions. And every 4 years, it's a little different because the people come at the candidates, and they say, as they're saying now, here are our problems, solve them. Here are our opportunities, seize them. Here are our fears, ease them.
Yeah, okay.
Here are our dreams, help them come true. A president can answer that call by saying, I'll do my part, but you have to help me. We have to work together. Or you can dodge what needs to be done by dividing, distracting, and diverting us. So in 2024, we got a pretty clear choice, it seems to me. Kamala Harris for the people.
There goes the smear.
And the other guy who's proved even more than the first go around that he's about me, myself, and I. I know which one I like better for our country. Kamala Harris will work to solve our problems, seize our opportunities, ease our fears, and make sure every single American, however they vote, has a chance to chase their dreams. You know, when she was young, she worked at McDonald's. And she greeted every person with that 1,000-watt smile and said, how can I help you? Now she's at the pinnacle of power and she's still asking, how can I help you? I'll be so happy when she actually enters the White House as president, because she will break my record as the president who spent the most time at McDonald's.
What?
Now, but we got an election to win. And remember, we've got a guy that's pretty good at what he does. Donald Trump has been a paragon of consistency. He's still dividing, he's still blaming, he's still belittling other people. He creates chaos and then he sort of curates it.
Oh, that's so much gaslighting right there.
Let me say, not a single day goes by even though I've been gone for well over 23 years from the White House, not a day goes by that I don't thank the Lord for the chance I had to serve and what it meant. And one of the reasons, thank you. Wait. One of the reasons.
Is that the
One
real
of the
Hillary,
reasons
Jimmy?
I love the
Nope.
job so much
Nope.
is that in the toughest times, even on the darkest days, if you tried hard enough, there was always something good you could do for somebody else. Now, some days that's not easy to do. You've got to deal with all these emergencies, or there's something going on here, there, or yonder. But Kamala Harris is the only candidate in this race who has the vision, the experience, the temperament, the will, and yes, the sheer joy.
Experience? Doesn't Donald Trump have 4 years of experience as being president over her?
I mean, look, what does her opponent do with his voice? He mostly talks about himself, right? So the next time you hear him, don't count the lies. Count the eyes. Count the eyes. His vendettas, his vengeance, his complaints, his conspiracies.
Wow.
He's like one of those tenors opening up before he walks out on stage, like I did, trying to get his lungs open by singing me, 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 me. When Kamala Harris is president, every day will begin with you, 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 you.
He just said, like I did, and then he described what Trump did. But you just said you did that.
Exactly.
We got to ask ourselves the questions if we're going to hire a president. Do you want to build a strong economy from the bottom up and the middle out? Or do you want to spend the next 4 years talking about crowd size? You're going to have a hard time believing this, but so help me, I triple checked it. Since the end of the Cold War in 1989, America has created about 51 million new jobs. I swear I checked this 3 times. Even I couldn't believe it. What's the score? Democrats 50, Republicans 1.
I'm sorry. There is no effing way. No effing way. No. I'll check that.
We need his sources.
Wow.
I'm glad
No way.
that we've got a championship winning coach on our team. But even the most limited of us in what we know about football or any other sport knows that if you're got 50 and the other side's got 1, you're ahead.
There's no effing way. I got to go fact check that
What
now.
about affordable housing? It's a terrible problem in America now. We need more. And affordable health care. That's why the Democrats put a limit on monthly payments for insulin and a $2,000 a year
Fact check Bill Clinton said.
out-of-pocket limit, and are trying to cover more drugs by bargaining for
I
prices.
don't think so, Deborah. They paid people to be there.
We need more financing for small businesses. We need still to strengthen our alliances. I almost croaked in the first debate of this election season when President Trump said nobody respected America anymore. Like they did when he was president. Wait. And with a straight face. Look, you got to give him, he's a good actor. With a straight face, he cited as evidence of the respect that existed for us when he was there, the presidents of North Korea and Russia. I'd rather have the people who respect us now. And one of the things is when you send a signal to the other countries, you want them to know whether they agree with you or not, at least that you're on the level. Here's where you are and what you believe. What are they supposed to make to these endless tributes to the late, great Hannibal Lecter? I mean, President Obama once gave me the great honor of saying I was the explainer-in-chief. Folks, I've thought about it, and I don't know what to say. Like Hakeem Jeffries, I too want an America that's more joyful, more inclusive, more future-focused. Just think what a burden it's been on us to get up day after day after day after day, buried in meaningless hot rhetoric, when there's so many opportunities out there, so many problems that need to be solved. I want that. And that's the America Kamala Harris will lead. Her nominee for vice president. As they used to say when I was a young man growing up in Arkansas, you do not have to be all broke out with brilliance. You just look at Tim Walz, listen to him, follow his record as a teacher, as a coach in the National Guard, as a congressman, where he was the only Democrat, save one, elected in that district in more than 100 years.
Yeah, that was yesterday. I have an explanation.
And then he became a great governor. And by all accounts, he was a crack shot who had the courage among his rural constituents to say, we do not need these assault weapons available to people who can kill our kids in school. So, armed with her first decision, Kamala Harris confronts an interesting dilemma. We're going to walk out of here feeling pretty good, I think. We've got energy. We are happy. We feel like a load's off our shoulders. And we know we're just being asked to fight the same fight that the forces of progress have had to fight for 250 years. In the face of stiff and often violent opposition, we have to find a way to go forward together, where we the people make our union more perfect. So that's a good thing. How could we possibly lose? Kamala Harris has fought for kids their whole life.
Is this
that
the
were
real
left out and
bill,
left behind.
Jimmy?
She's taken
I do
on
believe so.
gangs, trafficking.
I haven't
across the
heard
border.
anything about him.
She's fought to protect the rights of
Okay.
homeowners. She's been our leader in the fight for reproductive freedoms, and we know a majority of the American people are with us on that.
That's weird. The
Is
line
that on
is
your?
glitching.
I was going to say, is that on your end? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But that's weird. That's never done
And
that
she's
before.
gained an invaluable amount of experience as vice president, advancing our values and interests around the world. She's already said she's going to work really hard to make sure that no American working full-time lives in poverty or has to worry about their children living in poverty. She says that we got to make home ownership an achievable dream for everyone, not just a privilege. She said that and this meant a lot to me, that she would protect everybody's right to vote, whether or not they voted for her. They were citizens and they deserve the right to vote. The other day, her opponent implied that as his people voted one more time, they'd be able to rig it from now on and they wouldn't have to vote again.
He didn't say that.
You think they're kidding, but I know a lot of these folks, and most of them are really good people, but some of them think that they are bound to dominate America politically, economically, and socially, and they have to use politics to do it, and they should rig the system. I don't believe that. And so here's what I want to tell you. We've seen more than one election slip away from us when we thought it couldn't happen, when people got distracted by phony issues or overconfident. This is a brutal, tough business. I want you to be happy. One of the reasons that President-to-be Harris is doing so well is that we're all so happy.
Oh, just like Jehovah's Witnesses, we're all happy people.
But you should
Good
never
point.
underestimate your adversary. And these people are really good at distracting us, at triggering doubt, at triggering buyer's remorse. As the Obama said so eloquently last night, they are human, you know. They're bound to make a mistake now and then. We got to be tough. And so, as somebody who spends a lot of time in small towns and rural areas in New York and Arkansas and other places, I urge you to talk to all your neighbors. I urge you to meet people where they are. I urge you not to demean them but not to pretend you don't disagree with them if you do. Treat them with respect, just the way you'd like them to treat you.
I can agree with that though. That's what I did with those two Democratic boomers I spoke to at
Ask
the
for their
library.
help and then follow our leader, Kamala, and ask them, how can I help you? We Democrats right now have a lot of hay in the barn. We've got massive achievements, massive advances, but there's still a lot of slips between today and election day that we have to navigate. And so I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. I have no idea how many more of these I'll be able to come to. I started in '76 and I've been to every one since. But no, 72. Lord, I'm getting old. But here's what I want you to know. If you vote for this team, if you can get them elected and let them bring in this breath of fresh air, you will be proud of it for the rest of your life. Your children will be proud of it.
Oh
Your
my
grandchildren
gosh.
will be proud of it.
He's crazy.
Take it from a man who
Hello
once
to
had the
a
honor to be called in
Bargo
this
boom.
convention the man from hope. We need Kamala Harris, the president of joy, to lead us. So,
Obama and Bill for sure. They're the best gaslighters.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
doing my part, you do yours. I'll see you when we're making a real joyful noise when the votes are counted. God bless you. And God bless America.
Wow, Jimmy, what are your thoughts?
There's so much gaslighting going on there. You know, they always project what they're doing onto somebody else. So when he talked about, we got elections slipping away from us and we got to do so much more. They've been rigging this crap for years.
Yep.
And what was that other thing he said? We're completely gaslighted.
Mhm.
About we shouldn't be demeaning people. Go to your neighbors and everything and talk to them. But if you talk to just a regular liberal or somebody with TDS on the street, they're not very nice.
Right.
In my experience, especially on social media.
Yeah.
It's just he's a really he's a really good gaslighter. I mean, that's all it is. And again, it was a lot of anti-Trump stuff. Saying that he doesn't care about the people. I think he's proven that he has. It's just I don't know how you've listened to this whole thing. I just can't take it. It just trips
I
me out.
didn't, yeah. Not tonight. I was like, I'm not gonna be here for 5 hours. Let me go out at 9 p.m. so I could get these good people, because this is who I really want to listen to.
Yeah.
I don't care about nobody else.
Yeah, I don't even know who else is supposed to speak. I thought Bill Clinton was going to be the last one to speak tonight. Because that
Do you know who else is coming?
I do not. I could probably go look it up and see. But yeah, it was. Now, you asked me if that was the real Bill.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I'm not sure about Bill Clinton. I think that's the real Bill.
Nancy Pelosi's next. Do you want to listen to Nancy?
Oh, God, yes. Let's listen to Nancy. I'm gonna go get my notepad.
Yes, that's what we need.
I need a notepad so I can remember what they say.
Yeah.
Let me go get that.
Hello, California. Hello, Maryland.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi speaking now. I need my notepad.
On January 20th, 2021, with the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris,
You
we
mean installment?
established one of the most successful presidencies of modern times. And we quickly proved that Democrats deliver. Millions of jobs, stronger infrastructure and rural broadband, a Biden child tax credit, rescuing human pensions, honoring our veterans, bold climate action, lowering the cost of prescription drugs, all thanks to President Biden's patriotic vision of a fairer America.
Patriotic?
Doing so with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Joe.
Wow.
Wow.
Justice. That's crazy.
And I know that Vice President Harris is ready to take us to new heights. I've known Kamala Harris for decades. Personally, I know her a person of deep faith, which is reflected in her community care and service. Officially, she is a leader of strength and wisdom and eloquence on policy, most recently demonstrated fighting for women's right to choose.
Deborah says fake Pelosi. Is this the real
Politically, she is
Pelosi?
astute
Oh, no, that's
and
not the real
strategic
Pelosi.
in winning difficult elections, quickly securing the nomination with dignity and grace, and choosing Tim Walz as our vice president.
I'll tell you if I know it or not, but yeah, that's not the real
I had
Pelosi.
the honor of serving with Tim for 12 years in the Congress.
You think
He
they're dead or
united
they're
Democrats, Republicans, and independents to turn
Some
a
are.
red district blue.
okay?
He showed courage when he came to Congress in voting for the Affordable Care Act, meeting the needs of his constituents despite Republicans' lies and misrepresentation.
Affordable Care Act. Is
When
that the
he went
Obamacare? Did they
home,
rename it?
won the
Yeah.
election, he returned to Congress.
Okay.
He fought for our Americans' heroes as the Democratic leader of the Veterans Affairs Committee. Thank you, Tim. January 6th was a
Oh, my God.
perilous moment for
Oh,
our
God.
democracy.
It's your
Never
fault.
before had a president of the United States so brazenly assaulted the bedrock of our democracy.
Oh, my God.
so
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
gleefully embraced political violence, so willfully betrayed his oath of office. Let us not forget who assaulted democracy on January 6th. He did. But let us not forget who saved democracy that day. We did.
Wow, she's lying when she's
Oh,
the one who
totally.
didn't take the national.
Thank God we
Wow,
had
she
a
denied the National
Democratic
Guard.
House of Representatives then. We returned to the Capitol that very same night. We insisted on certifying the election results on the floors of the House and the Senate. And we demonstrated to America and to the world that American democracy prevailed.
Again, republic, not democracy.
The parable of January 6th reminds us that our democracy is only as strong as the courage and commitment of those entrusted with its care. And we must choose leaders who believe in free and fair elections, who respect the peaceful transfer of power. The choice couldn't be clearer. Those leaders are Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. When the sun rose on January 7th, as our national anthem declares, we gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Oh my God. Gotta give it up to the speechwriters.
Yep, I was thinking the same
Now,
thing.
in this election, we are called upon to do the same, to stand together, to reject autocracy, to choose democracy. And we will do so by electing a Democratic House with Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House.
Oh my God, that would be disastrous.
Electing a Democratic Senate, electing Tim Walz as Vice President of the United States, and electing Kamala Harris as the President of the United States. Onward to victory.
Exactly, Ellie. That was it.
Yep, that was a good one though. I'm in shock she said all that when the video came out of her saying that she denied the.
Yeah, she said it was her fault.
Yep, she took accountability for once in her life, but then now she just took it back.
Well, of course. Let's see who comes on next before we talk about Nancy. Who's
Oh,
this?
okay, some kids.
Some kids.
Yeah, they're gonna sing now because that's what the DNC loves to do. They love to dance and sing all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, got to put in the.
I mean, is that typical for a DNC? This is my first time watching it.
I've never watched. I watched the ones in 2008 and 2016, and I don't remember it being like this. I really don't. Well, and then the one in 2020, of course, they didn't have one because of the freaking pandemic. But going back to what Nancy said, in her first thing, she was saying, Joe Biden has honored and protected our veterans.
Mm-hmm.
We know that's a lie. Look how many homeless vets we have. She said, reject autocracy and choose democracy.
Yep.
Well, what the hell did the Democratic Party just do by conducting a coup on Joe Biden?
Right.
That was autocracy. And that was what they did, because if it was democracy, then why didn't all the Democratic people have a chance to vote for who they wanted the nominee to be?
Right. Okay. I had to look that up when she said it. So autocracy means a system of government in which absolute power is held by the ruler, known as an autocrat. It includes most forms of monarchy and dictatorship, while it is contrasted with democracy and feudalism. Various definitions of autocracy exist. They may restrict autocracy to cases where power is held by a single individual, or they may define autocracy in a way that includes a group of rulers who wield absolute power.
There you go, right there. That's what they did to Joe Biden. And her comments on January 6th, oh my God. I can't wait till we actually do a show about that, because that will be very interesting. I got a lot to say about January 6th. Considering the fact that I was there. Now, I want to go back to something that Bill Clinton said about the numbers, jobs created. Now, I did a very quick search, and the only thing that first came up was Wikipedia. I am not a fan of Wikipedia because it is completely biased. Right. It does show that the number of jobs created on the Democratic side is way higher than the Republican side. But what I'd like to do is do a deep dive into those numbers and compare private sector versus government jobs.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I say that is because how much has the government grown since 1989? How many different agencies have been created to centralize the power? So I would like to know what percentage of those jobs created by the Democratic Party were government jobs. That will tell you a lot right there, that they would be the ones that have expanded governmental reach onto the American citizens.
Okay, because I also hear a lot the phrase of like bringing back jobs to America because it's like they our jobs are overseas and stuff like that. Like I hear that a lot.
Well, the thing is they're beholden to China. I mean, these people have been beholden to China. They've been beholden to other leaders of other countries, and they send our jobs, and they've been doing it for a long time. Long time. They've been sending our jobs overseas so that they can benefit financially, personally, and then we lose our jobs. We don't get to have the stuff made here. And then you got the tariffs and all that stuff. And it's not feasible for American citizens to have all of our jobs overseas. We can make cars. We can make steel. We can produce energy. We can do it all right here in the United States. Why in the world are we exporting all of our jobs? Why?
Right.
Well, that goes back to the whole deep state thing where they're operating in many different countries and they're just building their wealth. That's what they're doing. So,
Right. And I think Trump just posted on Truth Social about what Deborah's talking about here, the 818,000 extra jobs. I
yeah,
saw that.
yeah, they had to go in and revise it because their numbers were wrong. And that's why I said I got to check these numbers because, I mean, they can throw numbers out there, but they don't tell you, the deep dive on the numbers. They don't tell you that. So that's why we have to take it upon ourselves to go do that research and find out. And then once we find out, oh, well, okay, so the Democrats did have more jobs than the Republicans, but 80% of those jobs was government jobs.
Right. Okay. So if we cut those programs, like they say, abolish the DOE, abolish all those 3-letter agencies, that's to them losing jobs, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So when Trump says, hey, let's get rid of the Department of Education, what the Democrat will say is Trump wants to cut jobs in America.
Right.
That's what they'll say. And then what does the sheep hear? Oh, Trump's bad. He wants to cut jobs in America. That's what they hear.
Right. Because it's threatening their jobs. It's threatening their control and their hold. And that's I think that is really the deep state, to be honest.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. 100%. Because they're all, I was looking at, trying to read some of these, see, there's so little, I can't really see the comments.
So John says, I swear Pelosi is deep in the deep state, election stealing.
Totally.
Yeah. But you know what scares me is that when JFK was president, she was like an intern at the time. And there's a photo of her like standing behind JFK and she's really young. This woman has been around government and just around politics almost her entire adult life. And she's still there. And she's an old woman. And just waking up to the whole JFK stuff, I would totally believe that she's deep in the deep state. She's probably one of the founding mothers of the deep state, because I'm like, yo, they took out JFK, but she still sticks around. Johnson became president, and all those people still stuck around, and they just killed you if they didn't want you anymore. That's scary. That's like mafia type.
Oh, it's totally like the mafia, Ruby. This is how they operate. Like the video that we've done on your show a couple of times, the plan to save the world, that video. It tells you that we are being ran and have been ran by a criminal organization. It said, what happens when these criminals take power?
Okay.
And that's what it's referring to. And that's why they keep people around as long as they can, because these people, who's that? Who that is? Tony, I don't even know who Tony West is. They keep these people around because they got crap on them and they can control them. And they want to keep them around as long as they can. And so when the election time comes around, that's where the rigging comes into place. Do you really think that, well, maybe now, I guess, but the people of San Francisco and the people of California have literally picked Nancy Pelosi to be their representative all these years?
Right. It makes you question. It big time.
Yeah. And then another thing that you got, and a lot of folks need to question, is why are these people, Pelosi, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, we've talked about it a little bit before, but when they come into office, their net worth is nowhere near what their net worth is now. And you look at the salary that a congressman or a senator has, and you do the math, and it's like, how does $200,000 a year add up to $240 million?
Right. And that should be illegal though. Isn't that common sense laws to make insider trading and all that stuff illegal, or term limits? Like, I would have assumed that this was the norm. So like, why isn't it already there?
Well, they've talked about wanting to put term limits on senators and congressmen, but of course that's always been, you know, killed. They never wanted to, the deep state doesn't want to do that. But, Trump has mentioned, hey, there should be term limits on congressmen and senators. That is a threat to the deep state's control there too.
Right. And another thing, people like Omar and like the squad, all of these women who are from, like, they're not American. She came from a different country, and then they get their residency or citizenship here, and then she gets to run for office. Like, that should be illegal in my opinion. If you're not born in the United States, you should hold absolute no office and represent Americans if you're not even an American yourself. Like,
Yeah,
just because you're a citizen doesn't mean like, I have conflicting views on this, but I'm like, she should have never been elected.
oh no, she was completely installed. She was
Right.
and that's the other thing. A lot of these people, they have been installed like a toilet. Okay.
Yes.
They haven't been elected. And the election rigging has, and it was kind of funny because when Bill Clinton was talking about there's been a few slips, the ones we thought we were going to win, we didn't. And the only thing I could think about was 2016, because the deep state had that election rigged. We talked about this before. They had it rigged for Hillary to win, but the military unrigged it. And that's what caught them by surprise.
Right. You told me that. I think this is like the third time you've mentioned that to me. But my thing is like, well, how do you know that? So like, where are the receipts? Where's the evidence of, like, how do you know that the intervention actually took place?
I've learned them through the Q post.
Right. Okay. So, and then that's where it's like, well, how can I trust something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, and I understand that. It's not for everybody. I get that. But what happens is when that information came out on the Q boards, other digital soldiers went and dug on it and looked in to see what was going on. And then everybody got together and put their information together and be like, okay, what did you find? What did you find? Oh, wow, this is what we see. And it goes way deeper. I mean, it even goes, like I said, we said on a phone call together, it goes into dark web stuff.
Exactly. So it's like, it's kind of scary and risky, because if you want real information, you would have to go to unorthodox sources, and then you would have to have faith and trust that these people are telling the truth. Like, I don't know if I have that faith,
Yeah, there's about 6 sources. I have about 20 different sources I use, but there's about 6 of them that get their information from the dark web. That you're not going to see on you're not going to see on Google. You're not going to see on mainstream media. You're not going to see it.
Right.
And so I know that's why some of the things I say sound a little bit crazy, because it's kind of hard to give you actual proof on some things because it's not there. It's on the dark web.
Right. Okay. And you know what? From yesterday, they were talking about unions, and then a lot of people were chanting for unions. And I'm not educated enough to have an opinion about unions, and I don't really know about unions. I was going to ask you, what is your opinion about unions? Is that like a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm kind of with you, because I really haven't paid too much attention to the unions. But here's just what I think. It's like you got a company, and the company sets these rules out for what they want the company to be like. Well, after a while, the workers don't like the rules, So they hire somebody to be their representative legally to go fight the company to get different things passed that they want, that the employees, they don't agree with the company on. And so
Okay. So they fight for their rights or
I
something
guess,
like that.
yeah. So that's kind of how I look at it. Now, if someone else in the comments has something better for that, that's fine. Now, there are some things that the unions have done that have been good. You know, getting rid of child labor, you know, making sure people are getting paid for their overtime, because, you know, there's companies out there that will work somebody to death and not compensate them for their work. So
Okay, I understand.
so there's some good. It's like in baseball. They have a union in baseball, and even in football. Let's use football as an example. Football has a union. So you had all these football players, NFL players, you know, retiring with concussions, paralyzation, different things. So who's that?
No clue.
I don't know. So
I don't know.
the union goes to the NFL and says, "Listen, we need to have better protective equipment. You need to change the rules so these people are not getting concussions all the time." You know, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because if a union gets too powerful, then that's going to affect the corporation negatively, and they won't be able to grow and prosper.
Okay. And it's kind of like the majority wins, right? Because like, what if you don't agree with it, but you're stuck in this union and then they go on strike, you don't work, or like something might happen and you don't really agree with it, but you're in the union, right? You would have to go with it anyways. Like you can't have your own say in what you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Empath Lady, she says, Jimmy, mention some of what was on the dark web as best as you can without getting the channel a mark.
Okay, well, let's go to children.
Okay.
I have seen horrific images of what these people have done to children. Horrific. Things that would turn your stomach. I have seen those pictures, and there's videos as well. And they're disgusting. And that's why I tell people don't realize the evil we are actually fighting.
Right.
All right. So that's one thing. I'm not going to go. I think I can just leave it at that and let everybody's imagination go from there.
I think you did share something on Twitter though, and I told you, I can't watch that. That's gonna.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody wants to check that out, go check out Jimmy's Twitter.
Yeah, I've been posting a lot more edgier stuff on Twitter than I was on Facebook, because we've gotten to a point now to where I'm going to put stuff out there to slap you in the face.
Yeah.
You know, in Facebook, I had to be very careful about what I said. There's a lot of things I couldn't post on Facebook that I can post on X.
Right.
And so I've stepped up my message, so to speak. And I'm going to put stuff out that you're going to be like, holy crap. It's going to shock you. Some other things that are on the dark web is, you know, I told you about the United States corporation being dead, and that the Republic has taken over. There's documentation of a second Declaration of Independence on the dark web. There's that. There's information about different military operations going on all over the world right now. A lot going on in the Southeast China Sea area. You're not going to see that stuff on the internet, but it's actual real operations by the real military, not the woke military. So that's why I tell folks there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than folks even realize, because there's so much stuff that's been hidden from the public.
Okay, right. Because they're keeping us in this rosy world.
Yeah.
Do you know that person?
Is that Josh Shapiro? I think it is.
Yes. It is.
Yeah, play him.
Okay.
Years ago in Philadelphia, a band of patriots declared their independence from a king. and set ourselves on a path of self-determination. Generation after generation has embraced that responsibility. Ordinary Americans rising up, demanding more, seeking justice. And in every chapter of our American story, we've made progress and advanced the cause of freedom. Today we find ourselves writing that next chapter. Will we be a nation defined by chaos and extremism? Or will we choose a path of decency, honor, and continued progress? Kamala Harris, well, she has spent her entire career making progress. Donald Trump, a man with no guardrails, wants to take away our rights and our freedoms. And listen, while he cloaks himself in the blanket of freedom, what he's offering isn't freedom at all. Because hear me on this, it's not freedom to tell our children what books they're allowed to read.
That's not what they did. Oh, I'm gonna write that down.
And
I
it's
know.
not
Yep.
freedom to tell women what they can do with their bodies.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
Yep.
And hear
Good
me on
versus
this,
evil.
It sure as hell isn't freedom to say you can go vote, but he gets to pick the winner. That's not freedom.
Oh, what? What? Are you fucking?
You know what? You know what, Democrats? We are the party of real freedom.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
The kind of real freedom that comes when that child has a great public school with an awesome teacher because we believe in her future. Real freedom that comes when we invest in the police and in the community so that child can walk to and from school and get home safely to her mama.
And who was defunding the police?
Real freedom that comes when she can join a union, marry who she loves, start a family on her own.
You see what I'm
terms,
saying? Like, why do
breathe
they
clean air,
want people to join
drink pure
unions? Like,
water,
I'm
worship
confused.
how
Like,
she wants,
just get a
and live
job?
life of purpose where she is respected for who she is.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm taking notes.
Real freedom that comes when she can look at Madam President and know that this is a nation where anything and everything is possible. That is real freedom, and that is what we are fighting for. You know, Kamala and Tim's names may be on the ballot, but it's your rights. It's our rights. It's our future and freedoms that are on the line. And you have the power to shape the future of this country. Just like our ancestors who fought for freedom on the battlefield and sat in at lunch counters so our kids could stand up. Now it's on us. It's on us, my friends, to organize in our communities and on our For You pages around three basic American principles. We value our freedom, we cherish our democracy, and we love this country.
They hate this country.
Yep. And real freedom.
Yeah. If it's real freedom, then why are they always trying? I'll write this down.
And listen, despite our challenges, hear me on this. I want you to know I have never been more hopeful because I see in all of you the enduring promise of America. E pluribus unum, out of many one. It's not merely a motto from the past, it's our direction for the future.
It's the New World Order motto.
You see, you all give me hope, and you all have the power. So let's use that power.
Yeah.
Let's do the hard work necessary to win this election and write the next chapter in our American story. So are you ready to protect our rights? Are you ready to secure our freedoms? And are you ready to defend our democracy? And are you ready to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz?
No. How about secure the border?
Let's get to work.
Not once have they talked about that for 3 days. For 3 days, they've been talking about hope, freedom, rights.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
insane.
Let's see who's next before I dive in on this dude.
Yeah, let's see. And I don't even know who he is, so that's crazy.
He is the Attorney General for Pennsylvania.
Right. Okay, some black.
All right. Attorney General or Governor?
Mhm. Yeah, governor. I think governor.
Governor. Yeah, I'm sorry. Governor. Oh, who's this? I don't even know who that is.
No, yeah, I don't know either.
Is it going to come up with their name? Is it one of the Obama girls? It can't be an Obama girl.
No.
Okay. I don't know who that is. Okay.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right. So, one skill we got from being in Watchtower was being able to take notes as someone talked.
Yes.
So, all right. So first off, this guy, Josh Shapiro, technically the moderate Democrats wanted him to be the VP. But
Okay,
the
like
left,
Julie said.
but the left wing of the party didn't want him. Why? Because he's Jewish.
Really?
Yes. And so they didn't want somebody that was supporting Israel to be on the ticket.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Ergo, all the protests around the DNC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's that. I don't know much about the guy, but one thing that I do recognize here is he's always talking about, are you ready to protect our rights, our freedoms, our
Right.
democracy?
Mm-hmm.
When he says our, he's not referring to America.
Right.
He's referring to the deep state. They're
Uh-huh.
right. That's what he's referring. Their system of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they say democracy all the time, because that's how they operate. They don't believe in a republic.
Yep.
So let's see. He said that we didn't want to be a nation that's defined by chaos and extremism. Okay, let's go back to 2020 and who was conducting all the chaos and extremism then?
Mm-hmm.
Was it patriots? Was it everyday Americans? No, it was not.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I already touched on that. Talked about freedom is not saying banning books that your children can't read. Okay.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
All right, folks. There's certain books that should not be in a school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what we as conservatives are saying. Hey, that's inappropriate. That should not be available for kids in the school system. Now, if the parent wanted to go online, go to a bookstore and buy that book for their kid, okay, well, that's on them. It's not
Right.
It's not banning books. It's getting books out of schools that are inappropriate for children. No one's going around and burning all these books. They're still out there.
Right.
So it's not banning books. It's just getting rid of them out of the school where it's inappropriate for children.
Right. And I agree with you on that because I emailed my school board to block these books. So when that was happening in Florida, I did get involved and I was a part of that. One of the books was Blankets by Craig Thompson. And if you look that up, it is about SA or CSA or, like it blurs the lines in sexual experience that children should not be reading about, regardless of who's writing about it, or if it's a true story or fiction or nonfiction. Like, that doesn't matter. You're opening up the brain to imagine those things, to fantasize those things. And
Yeah.
that's dangerous for a young brain who doesn't know nothing about that. And
Right.
then they say, oh, this is just for high school students. It should be fine for like 16, 17-year-olds. And then they said, well, did you read the book yourself? Like that, those were the counters that they were giving me on in the email. And I said, I don't have to read the book to know what it's about. You can look at the images, and the images alone were pornographic. Why would I want a 16-year-old? I don't care how old you are. If you were under the age of 18, you are still considered a minor. And
Yeah.
if anybody does that to a minor, they are considered a pedophile, right? So why
Right.
are you letting them read about something that a pedophile did to that person in this book, whether it's fake or not? It's just inappropriate for a child. And then, like you said, if the parent has that in their private home, then that's their responsibility. And that is also their neglect. Because if
Yeah.
a minor has sex under the house, under your roof, and you let it happen, as the parent, you will get dragged to jail because you neglected, you let that happen. So there's
Yep.
laws even against that as well. So
Yep.
there's no excuse any way you look at it. But the DOE is like, sure, this is educational. Like, what? No.
And then it just goes back to who's running the DOE, who's responsible for that. And that's what people always have to remember. I can't express it enough. It always goes back to the top, and it's always the same people pushing these agendas. It always is. The other thing he said, talking about, oh, we need a president or a government that is going to support the police.
Mm-hmm.
He said that. Weren't they the ones that put forth legislation to defund the police?
Right.
They're not protecting the police. There's hundreds of New York City police officers that have walked off the job
Yep.
because they know that, hey, I can't do my job. I can't go out and do anything because if I have to take an action against this person for what they're doing, I'm going to be held liable for that. That's not protecting the police.
Exactly.
You know, if an armed person is coming at me, oh, should I try to talk them out of not shooting me? Or do I take the risk of pulling my weapon? Because they pull their weapon, next thing you know, they're being investigated to see if that was the right thing to do or not.
Right, right.
So that's ridiculous. Then the other thing I wrote down that he said, we don't want to be a party to where you vote and someone else picks the winner.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the irony, because that's exactly what Kamala did.
That's just what they did. And see,
Right.
and the thing is they tell half truths, and they use emotion. This is what this DNC has been all about.
Yep.
It's been emotional. And when you start to make decisions on emotion, you make mistakes.
Yeah, and that's what Satan did too. He used half-truths to trick and deceive. And then when you commit the sin, when you commit the crime, now you have the consequences.
Yep.
And then you say, oh, well, but I didn't know. Like, no, it doesn't matter if you didn't know that was illegal or wrong or whatever. No, you got caught anyway. So nobody's protecting you from that. You got to do the research yourself. You have to educate yourself.
Oh, and then I thought that was the last thing I had on him. But then he says, we want to protect our rights.
Right.
Okay, well, what about the Second Amendment rights? What have the Democrats been trying to do all this time with an American citizen right? Speech. Why are we being censored? They don't care. They don't care about Americans having free speech. They hate that.
Yeah.
And that's obvious because of the censorship. So yeah, that was BS. That whole thing that he said, that was all BS. That was all propaganda. Every bit of
the
it.
whole thing. Because
Every bit
not
of it.
once did he say about secure the border. Not once did they show us a graph of the invasion or nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Inflation, nothing.
There's been literally no substance at all to this DNC. None.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one proposal. Nothing. It's all been emotional.
Nothing.
Who's coming to the stage now?
Oh my God. Oprah.
Okay. Oh, and that's not the real. That's
Wow.
not the real Oprah.
Really? I thought she took a Ozempic to get skinny.
Yeah, that's not the real Oprah. Okay, let's listen.
Good evening, everybody! Who says you can't go home again? After watching the Obamas last night, that was some epic fire, wasn't it? Some epic fire.
Her voice don't even sound the same.
We're now so fired up. We can't wait to leave here
Yeah, good
and
point.
do something.
Oh, is that the tagline? Do something.
And what we're
Yep,
going to
Michelle Obama
do
coined it.
is elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
That does not sound like Oprah Winfrey.
But that's what I'm saying. She lost weight. She was taking pills to lose weight.
Nah, yeah.
I am so honored.
That's what they
to have
told
been
you.
asked to speak on tonight's
Or maybe
theme
surgery to look
about what
skinny.
matters
Like Hillary,
most
she
to
probably did a
me,
facelift.
to you, and all of us Americans. Freedom. There are people who want you to see our country as a nation of us against them, people who want to scare you, who want to rule you, people who'd have you
Projecting.
believe that books
Yes.
are
Yes.
dangerous and assault rifles are safe, that there's a right way to worship and a wrong way to love. People who seek first to divide and then to conquer. But here's the thing.
To conquer.
When we stand together, it is impossible to conquer us.
To conquer us. Why she talks like that?
Yeah, that voice is killing me.
In the words of an extraordinary American, the late Congressman John Lewis,
Yes, Deborah, very evil woman.
he said, no matter what ship our ancestors arrived on, we are all in the same boat now.
Correct, Deborah.
Congressman Lewis knew very well how far this country has come because he was one of the brilliant Americans who helped to get us where we are. But he also knew that the work is not done. The work will never be done because freedom isn't free. America is an ongoing project. It requires commitment. It requires being open to the hard work and the heart work.
Thanks, empath.
Democracy. And every now and then, it requires standing up to life's bullies. I know this. I've lived in Mississippi, in Tennessee, in Wisconsin, Maryland, Indiana, Florida, Hawaii, Colorado, California, and
And I've been to Epstein Island.
sweet home Chicago, Illinois.
That is not Oprah. No.
I have actually traveled this country from the redwood forest, love those redwoods, to the Gulf Stream waters. I've seen racism and sexism and income inequality and division. I've not only seen it, at times I've been on the receiving end of it. But more often than not, what I've witnessed and experienced are human beings, both conservative and liberal, who may not agree with each other, but who'd still help you in a heartbeat if you were in trouble. These are the people who make me proud to say that I am an American.
How many people in Maui did you help, Oprah?
They are the best of America. And despite what some would have you think, We are not so different from our neighbors.
Yes,
When a
Empath.
house is on fire, we don't ask about the homeowner's race or religion. We don't wonder who their partner is or how they voted. No. We just try to do the best we can to save them. And if the place happens to belong to a childless cat lady,
Why'd they show that lady when she said that?
we try to get that
She
cat
probably
out
looks
too.
like one.
That was funny.
Because we are a country of people who work hard for the money. We wish our brothers and sisters well, and we pray for peace.
Yes, John,
We
good
know all
point.
the
He
old
says she was
tricks
buying up
and
the land in Maui
tropes
after
that are
the fire.
designed
After
to
the
Yep.
fire.
distract us from
Yep.
what actually matters. But we are beyond ridiculous tweets and lies and foolery. These are complicated times, people, and they require adult conversation.
Wow.
And I
And she
welcome
said
those
save them
conversations
too in the last
because
sentence. That was
civilized
crazy.
debate is vital to democracy, and it is the best of America. Now, over the last couple of nights, we have all seen brave people walk onto the stage and share their most private pain. Amanda and Josh, Caitlin, Hadley, they told us their stories of rape and incest and near-death experiences from having the state deny them the abortion that their doctor explained was medically necessary. And they've told us these things for one reason, and that is to keep what happened to them from happening to anybody else. Because if you do not have autonomy over this, if you cannot control when and how you choose to bring your children into this world and how they are raised and supported, there is no American dream.
I'm writing that down to make a point later.
Yep.
The women and men who are battling to keep us from going back to a time of desperation and shame and stone cold fear, they are the new freedom fighters. And make no mistake, they are the best of America. I want to talk now about somebody who's not with us tonight. Tessie Prevost Williams was born in New Orleans not long after the Supreme Court ruled that segregated public schools were unconstitutional. That was in 1954, same year I was born. But I didn't have to head to first grade at the all-white McDonough 19 school with a U.S. Marshal by my side like Tessie did. And when I got to school, the building wasn't empty like it was for Tessie. You see, rather than allowing McDonough to be integrated, parents pulled their kids out of the school, leaving only Tessie and two other little Black girls, Gail Etienne and Leona Tate, to sit in a classroom with the windows papered over to block snipers from attacking their 6-year-old bodies.
Oh my God.
Tessie passed away 6 weeks ago. And I tell this story to honor her tonight.
Emotions. Emotions.
Oh, so is that like a mass shooting she's referring to?
We'll talk about it.
Like Ruby Bridges
Okay.
and her friends, Leona and Gail, the New Orleans Four, they were called. They broke barriers and they paid dearly for it. But it was the grace and guts and courage of women like Tessie Prevost Williams that paved the way for another young girl who 9 years later became part of the second class to integrate the public schools in Berkeley, California. And it seems to me that at school and at home, somebody did a beautiful job of showing this young girl how to challenge the people at the top and empower the people at the bottom. They showed her how to look at the world and see not just what is, but what can be. They instilled in her a
Oh my God.
passion for justice and freedom and the glorious fighting spirit necessary to pursue that passion. And soon and very soon, very soon, we're going to be teaching our daughters and sons about how this child of an Indian mother and a Jamaican father, two idealistic, energetic immigrants, how this child grew up to become the 47th president of the United States.
So, never mind.
That is the best of America.
I hope she was born here.
For Kamala,
Yeah,
she's an anchor baby.
I was just about to say that. Yep, anchor baby.
You know, let me tell you this. This election isn't about us and them. It's about you and me and what we want our futures to look like. There are choices to be made when we cast our ballot. Now, there's a certain candidate that says if we just go to the polls this one time, that we'll never have to do it again. Well, you know what? You're looking at a registered independent who's proud to vote again and again and again because I'm an American and that's what Americans do. Voting is the best of America. And I have always, since I was eligible to vote, I've always voted my values. And that is what is needed in this election now more than ever. So I'm calling on all you independents and all you undecideds. You know this is true. You know I'm telling you the truth, that values and character matter most of all. In leadership and in life. And more than anything, you know this is true, that decency and respect are on the ballot in 2024.
Yes, Chronicles.
And just plain common sense. Common sense tells you that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz can give us decency and respect. They're the ones that give it to us. So, we are Americans. We are Americans. Let us choose loyalty to the Constitution over loyalty to any individual.
Oh, really?
Because that's the best of America. And let us choose optimism over cynicism, because that's the best of America. And let us choose inclusion over retribution. Let us choose common sense over nonsense. Because that's the best of America. And let us choose the sweet promise of tomorrow over the bitter return to yesterday. We won't go back. We won't be set back, pushed back, bullied back, kicked back. We're not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. So, let us choose. Let us choose truth. Let us choose honor. And let us choose joy.
Oh, my God.
Oh my, I know.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
that's the best of America. But more than anything else, let us choose freedom. Why? Because that's the best of America. We're all Americans, and together, let's all choose Kamala Harris.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Chicago. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh my God. This is great. This is just great. All right, let's see who's next. Oh my God. I took
Yeah,
some
that's all
notes.
I hear. Okay, so it's a commercial.
It's a commercial. Okay, so first thing,
Yeah, that was crazy.
first thing I got on her was when she said, "When you don't have autonomy over this."
Yep. She never said the word body.
Okay,
Yeah, she said this.
but when people decided that they didn't want to wear a mask or they didn't want to get jabbed, those people on the left criticized you, vilified you, called you names. You are a grandma killer. You don't care
Yep.
about people. You just want to get. We saw the videos, so I know she was referring to the abortion situation. Yes, I get that, but I can have autonomy over this myself. If I don't want to wear a mask, I ain't wearing it.
Right.
So yeah, that was bullcrap. Then she starts talking about, right, who's coming on? Who's that?
No clue who this guy is.
Oh God, let's see who it is. Oh, apparently he has a cheer section. Oh, he looks shisty.
Okay. Governor, Maryland.
Oh God. Okay. All right. I don't care about him.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So then she starts.
Wait. The autonomy that you were speaking about. Okay, so you mentioned the COVID stuff and the masks and the jabs.
Yeah.
Another point. Meanwhile, everybody who came from the border was not mandated to take those shots. And
Correct.
their kids were not mandated, and they were able to go to public education without getting those shots. Meanwhile, American children were mandated to get those shots to get an education. And in New York City, they made it illegal to homeschool your children. So that's what they literally told me that I would be forced to give them a shot if I wanted my kids to have an education. That does not sound like freedom to me, and that's why I had to leave New York City, because I want the parental choice to school my children the way I need to and the way I want to, and not to take a shot just to get education. So, and Fauci said that in that phone recording that they put in the hearings. He said if you make their lives hard enough, colleges and campuses and schools and businesses, private businesses, would say you can't come in here unless you have a mask. Just like they say, oh, I can't serve you if you don't have some shoes or a shirt. So that's the slippery slope. And like you said, she was referring to abortion. And this is what I said earlier. And I'm going to talk more about abortion on my channel in the future because I have a personal experience with it. But that's the same thing. They say autonomy over this, over your body as a female, to abort the child in your body. Number one, that child is not you. It's not your body. It's a separate individual within you. And that person's human rights should be respected and defended. That is a separate soul. It's not you. So you are ending somebody else's life. That's considered murder. That's just the definition. That's not an opinion. That's literally the definition. You're ending somebody else's life purposefully, deliberately.
Can I interject with you on that for just a second? Why is it, and then let you keep going, why is it that when a pregnant woman gets murdered, they call it a double homicide?
Exactly.
If it's not a life, then shouldn't it just be a homicide? Right. It makes no sense. in their view, I mean, if you look at the way they're trying to, the left and trying to say it, then why do you call it a double homicide?
Yes, and there's a second heartbeat. So it's not just your heart. There's also another heartbeat within you. That's somebody else. That's not you. That's a separate human being that will be born if you let it be born. So it's like you're intervening in the natural way of life. I spoke about this earlier. Why would you intervene? Anybody else who does that is considered a murderer because you intervened into somebody else's life and you ended it. You took away somebody's life without the natural causes for that. So that's considered murder. And that murder should be prosecuted and criminalized just like any other murder. So why is it different if the person is in the womb or if the person is outside of the womb? Murder's murder. You can't just justify it and say, oh, well, this person's not born, so they don't have they don't have rights just because they're not born. So no, I respect that now because I went through that decision. I contemplated these things before, and then I actually did it. That personal experience, I'm passionate about it, and it hurts me because I wish I was awake back then. That would have prevented me from doing something I regretted later. Because how many go to get an abortion and they don't have the permission from the father, and the father is pleading with that woman not to abort their child, and then they go ahead and they do it anyways. So where's the rights for that man who wants to be a father, who says, have the baby, I'll take care of it? But the woman says, no, you can't force me to go 9 months and bear this pregnancy. But that's your fault. You slept with him without protection. You got pregnant. So you can't say that and then disregard the man's right and feelings because that's his child also. It's not just yours.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Let me go on my next point.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so then she starts using the emotion of the little black girl going to school and all that, and how it was such a wonderful thing that the Democrats fought for integration into the schools. Okay, aren't they the same party that wanted to keep slavery? Aren't they?
Yes.
Aren't they the same party where the KKK came out of?
Yes.
Aren't they the same party that passed the Jim Crow laws?
Yes.
So they created a problem, and then here they offered a solution. Let's let four little black girls go to school, and we'll look like heroes to these people.
Right.
That was 100% gaslighting.
Right. Exactly.
Anyway, I wrote down they always want the people. And so they'll always say, you'll hear all these folks say, well, we've got to have you folks fight for us. We all got to do something. And the reason why they need that is they need the people's backing for their agenda. And what they don't know is once these people give them what they want, then you've just elected your ruler. And now these people are going to rule over you. They don't realize they are supporting their own demise, in my opinion. Then she says, I wrote down you and me. She says, you and me, we're all in this together. We're all doing this, equality thing, she said. Okay, how many people would Oprah trade her life with?
No one.
Would Oprah trade her life with someone that is unemployed, on food stamps, living off the government?
No.
And did she do a damn thing for any of the people of Maui?
No, she bought up the land that burnt down.
Yeah. And her and The Rock got hammered online when they went out asking for donations.
Yeah, she's like a billionaire by now. Like, what are you asking money for? Like, what? That's like Elon asking for money. Like, what the?
Yeah. Why don't you take what you just said about helping people and we're all in this together, and that, oh, they're going to be willing to help you. How many people did you help, Oprah?
Exactly. Okay, so Pete Buttigieg is on the stage. Do you want to hear him?
Oh my God. Sure, why not?
Okay. Thank you, Chicago.
Eat booty juice.
Here's a sentence I never thought I'd
Yeah.
hear myself saying. I'm Pete Buttigieg, and you might recognize me from Fox News.
No, we recognize you for wearing the fake food thing to feed your kid.
Yeah, I only
I
recognize
believe
him
in
because he was the
going
only gay
anywhere.
running for president.
Anywhere. In service of a good cause, and friends,
Openly
we gather
gay,
in
correction.
a very good cause, electing Kamala Harris and Tim Walz the next president and vice president of the United States. The choice could not be clearer. Donald Trump rants about law and order as if he wasn't a convicted criminal running against a prosecutor. As if we were going to forget that crime was higher on his watch. Talks about the forgotten man, hoping we'll forget that the only economic promise that he actually kept was to cut taxes for the rich. And don't even get me started on his new running mate. At least Mike Pence was polite. J.D. Vance is one of those guys who thinks if you don't live the life that he has in mind for you, then you don't count. Someone who said that if you don't have kids, you have, quote, no physical commitment to the future of this country. You know, Senator, when I deployed to Afghanistan, I didn't have kids then. Many of the men and women who went outside the wire with me didn't have kids either. But let me tell you, our commitment to the future of this country was pretty damn physical. Choosing a guy like J.D. Vance to be America's next vice president sends a message. And the message is that they are doubling down on negativity and grievance. Committing to a concept of campaigning best summed up in one word: darkness. Darkness is what they are selling. The thing is, I just don't believe that America today is in the market for darkness. I believe America is ready for a better kind of politics. Yes,
Gigi, the
politics
internet
at
is
its
telling me
worst
that that's
can
an
be
altered
ugly,
image, that that's not
crushing,
real. So I'm
demeaning.
trying to dig it up.
but it doesn't have to be. At its best, politics can be empowering, uplifting. It can even be a kind of soul craft. My faith teaches me that the world isn't made up of good people and bad people, but rather that each of us is capable of good and bad things. And I believe leaders matter because of what they bring out in each of us, the good or the bad. Right now, the other side is appealing to what is smallest within you. They're telling you that greatness comes from going back to the past. They're telling you that anyone different from you is a threat. They're telling you that your neighbor or nephew or daughter who disagrees with you politically isn't just wrong, but is now the enemy. I believe in a better politics, one that finds us at our most decent and open and brave. The kind of politics that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are offering. And as you have felt these many days, that kind of politics also just feels better to be part of. There is joy in it, as well as power. And if all of that sounds naive, let me insist that I have come to this view not by way of idealism, but by way of experience. Not just the experience of my unlikely career. Someone like me serving in Indiana, serving in Washington, serving in uniform. I'm thinking of something much more basic. I'm thinking of dinner time at our house in Michigan. When the dog is barking and the air fryer is beeping and the mac and cheese is boiling over, And it feels like all the political negotiating experience in the world is not enough for me to get our 3-year-old son and our 3-year-old daughter to just wash their hands and sit at the table. It's the part of our day when politics seems the most distant. And yet the makeup of our kitchen table, the existence of my family, is just one example of something that was literally impossible as recently as 25 years ago, when an anxious teenager growing up in Indiana wondered if he would ever find belonging in this world. This kind of life went from impossible to possible, from possible to real, from real to almost ordinary in less than half a lifetime. But that didn't just happen. It was brought about through idealism and courage, through organizing and persuasion and storytelling, and yes, through politics, the right kind of politics, the kind of politics that can make an impossible dream into an everyday reality. I don't presume to know what it's like in your kitchen, but I know,
yeah, Deborah.
as sure as I am standing here, that everything in it, the bills you pay at that table, the shape of the family that sits there, the fears and the dreams that you talk about late into the night there, all of it compels us to demand more from our politics than a rerun of some TV wrestling death match. So this November, we get to choose. We get to choose our president. We get to choose our policies, but most of all, we will choose a better politics. A politics that calls us to our better selves and offers us a better everyday. That is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz represents. That is what Democrats represent. That is what awaits us when America decides to end Trump's politics of darkness once and for all.
Lucy.
That
The
is
right
what we
kind
choose
of
when
politics?
we embrace the leaders who are out
white
there
beliefs.
building bridges and reject the ones who are out there banning books. This is what we will work for every day to November and beyond. So let's go win this. Thank you, Democrats.
To infinity and beyond.
Oh my God, I don't like that guy at all.
I don't either.
He's the transportation secretary, and how many trains crashed, and he was in charge of that.
Yeah. I didn't take no notes on him because he's just irrelevant to me.
Yeah. Okay,
I
it's
mean,
a commercial.
it was all Jesus. It's all emotion. Every bit of this is emotion.
Yep.
Let's see. They are really happy. One thing that I've noticed is they're, and I got to dig a little deeper on this myself and find out exactly what was meant, but they're really harping on the whole comment, and this was from Oprah's thing, where Trump's talked about, vote for me this time, and you won't have to do it again. There's got to be something else deeper to that, because they've been harping on that a lot. And one thing that I've learned through my research is if the media and the Democratic politicians are harping on one thing a lot, there's a reason why.
Yeah, I believe that.
And it's usually because they're panicking. So, Trump came out and talked about HCQ and ivermectin, and they jumped on him quick about that and kept on and kept on and kept on. The reason why is because they knew HCQ and ivermectin would take care of CV. They knew it. Oh my God.
Now they have another performance by John Legend. So this is a concert now.
Oh my God. John Legend, whose wife Christy Teigen was always tweeting about making sure she was ready for her pizzas. and they
No,
are.
that was a really strange time period, and her tweets were very, very weird, and that was an awakening for me. I said, why are these people talking almost like talking in code, but at the same time they're telling you the truth right in front of your face, but you're not in
Yeah,
the loop. You don't know those words. You don't know what it means, and then when you dig deep, that's the scary part. When you wake up to the fact that she was talking about a lot of shady and dirty things.
oh yeah,
And then
evil stuff.
yeah, and she even said like White House parties, pizza parties at the White
Uh-huh.
House.
Yeah, why did Barack Obama bring in $65,000 worth of hot dogs to the White House?
Yeah, I remember that.
What's
Yeah.
a hot dog, folks? Go look up the code words for pedophilia described by the FBI.
Right.
This is that deep dark web stuff that I know
Mhm.
about.
Yeah, I can't even go there. I can't. It would get me upset. So I gotta protect my mental health. But
Yeah.
that's how serious it is, and
Yeah.
that's how real it is.
You remember when Trump took over? You remember Melania would not bring Barron to the White House for a while?
Yeah.
Didn't you find that kind of odd?
I did, but then I kind of took like the parental mind frame, and I was like, well, I probably would do the same thing, because she was saying, oh, Barry needs to finish the last year in the school that he was. She don't want to uproot him. So I understood that. But then people were like, oh, she's so privileged. She's wasting taxpayer money because they have to protect her over here in New York and then Trump over here. So it was millions of dollars a day that was being spent and the protection stuff. But I was like, she's the first lady and that's the first son. Like, what do you want? What do you want?
She would not step foot in the White House until they got it cleaned out.
Interesting.
Because crap was going on at the White House. $65,000 worth of hot dogs. Let's just say that.
But where is there tunnels? Is there an
there's more floors underneath the White House. There's tunnels underneath the White House that connect the tunnel to the the White House to the Capitol to other buildings. Yeah, the tunnel system is intense in Washington, D.C.
Just to go along with your point, the Democrats are up to something. They are also dragging on this Project 2025 thing. They brought the 900-page book, and they continue to drag that out, and that's why I'm like, wow, I knew this was gonna happen. That's why I wanted to cover that. And then you told me, no, let's do Agenda 47. They have not even mentioned that, not once.
No.
And they are sticking with this Project 2025, and it's frustrating because I'm like, that has nothing to do with the man or his administration.
And you got to look, who are they focusing? They are focusing on people that have been brainwashed by the media, who have been gaslighted to believe all these things, and that's their people. And the reason why they're panicking so much and pushing these things over and over again is because so many people are leaving the Democratic Party. And that's why I wrote down here where Oprah said, to all you independents, we welcome you. Why did she do that? Why did she say, oh, as a registered independent, why did she do that? You have any idea?
Okay, so she was saying she used to be an independent.
No. She said she was independent. Okay. And she's reaching out to the independents and Republicans that may be watching this to come join us. Why would she say that? I'll give you the reason, but I want you to give me your thought. Why would she say that? Do you think you have any idea?
Well, the simplest answer is probably to bring them in, to bring that undecided vote to the Democrats.
Kind of, sort of, yes. But who's going to be probably dropping out here soon from the presidential race?
Oh, yes, I've seen that. RFK Jr. Yeah.
And who is his base?
The independents.
Exactly. Oh God. I don't want to listen to her. She's annoying as.
Okay, so that it's gonna happen. Most likely gonna happen. That he's gonna
So she's already trying to get ahead of the story, and by offering the independents to come join them. So they know what's going to happen. That's why she said it.
Inside information, right?
Exactly. I wrote down where she said we must have loyalty to the Constitution. Bullcrap. They want to destroy the Constitution. We've proved that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It was part of the 16-year plan to get rid of our Constitution because
Yep.
the deep state hates that.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Empath,
go ahead.
Jimmy, really quickly, do you have a conspiracy theory on JD Vance? Empath is asking.
I've just started doing some digging on him, and my first instinct is this: I don't like his ties to Peter Thiel, Thiel. Look him up and what he's been involved in. I'm not a huge fan of his. I don't like that connection that he has there. He did go to Yale, and what do we know? It's at Yale, Skull and Bones. Then what was the other thing? Oh, and then his affiliation with a blood company called Ambrosia.
Okay, yes, you've mentioned that before. The other phrase you mentioned about Yale, I don't know about that one.
The Skull and Bones?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the secret society that was created back in the 1830s, and it started at Yale, and it has spawned certain presidents like George Bush Jr. Skull and Bones is another evil elite organization.
Okay, those are the ones that JFK was talking about in that clip you shared on your big
Correct.
picture.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's also some connections to Skull and Bones to Watchtower.
Really? Stop.
Yeah. No, there is. Yeah. That's a whole nother video.
Yeah, that is.
So I think we've talked about it before too. I think I did it on the big picture episodes. I think we did talk about it. And it trips me out that these Democrats saying we're not going back to the way things were. Whatever. Okay, well that goes back to they've been in control 12 of the last 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
So during those 4 years, Trump really screwed up their plan that they had for all of us. He really did. He messed up their plan. And that's why they're pushing as hard as they can right now to get back on track. And it's not going to work. So that's the stuff I had on Oprah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's super interesting. I'm gonna watch this back, and I'm gonna write notes on everything you just said right now, because I still got that long list from the first list I made.
Ruby, I've got enough stuff to keep you busy for the next 3 to 4 years.
Oh my goodness. I love it though. I love it because that is, I'm telling you, is mixed in with politics, history, and then the history they don't want us to know about, the real history, the one that are written by the losers.
Written by the winners.
Right, but the history written by the losers. That they don't want you to.
Oh yeah, they don't want to. They don't want that.
Yeah,
you know, it's kind of funny you said that, because I was watching a video. I think it was Candace Owens and Andrew Tate. A little quick TikTok video on them. I guess it was TikTok. But they were talking about World War II history. And Andrew Tate said, you go to every country that was involved in World War II.
And yes, I saw that. Yes.
And they all have a different say of what happened.
Right.
Every country. Yeah, every country has a different say on what happened.
Yeah, and even Germany themselves. He said, "Do you know what they teach the kids in Germany? They say, oh, this wasn't us. It was like how we say the deep state. It was a group of people that were had the power that did this to this group of people, but it wasn't us." And so that's how they
yeah. And didn't he say that Germany's history was the closest to the truth?
I think he was alluding to that. And then he said other countries as well have given them. Russia. Russia has the most accurate, he said.
Yes, Russia. Okay, yeah, it was Russia. Yeah. Okay. That Russia had the most accurate history of World War II. And how many...
I don't know who this is, but...
Who's this soy boy?
Former student of Tim Walz.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's who's speaking tonight, Tim Walz. Okay.
We're waiting for him.
I was trying to think who's going to be the keynote speaker. Then I thought about, it's going to be Tim Walz. Well, let me flip my page.
He looks so gay. He looks so gay.
Oh, Tim Walz?
Yeah.
Completely gay. Have you seen the TikTok video where he was dancing around in a cowboy hat?
No, I did not.
Well, when I find it again, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to be before Tim Walz gets on there. I was thinking
This
about
should
it.
be the last hour because they finish like around midnight, usually.
So this next guy's probably going to talk what for 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, probably. Really quick, Tad is asking, Jimmy, will Trump go to jail in September?
It's very possible that you will see Trump go behind bars. That's just
Hell no. Hell no.
Here's why I say this.
Okay.
I don't want it to happen. There's a part of me that think it's not going to happen, but I got to look at both sides. I got to look at the bigger picture here.
Mm-hmm.
How would it look optically for the Democratic Party if they could get a photo of Trump going to jail?
But that can't happen. I'm sorry. It can't.
So
House arrest, I could understand that they say, okay, so he's under house arrest, and that alone would anger so many on the other side, because if there's so much about unity, then why would they do this? Just like Trump said, oh, I could have locked her up. I could have locked Hillary up, but that would have divided the country.
Correct. I think there is a very good possibility that may happen. Now, will he stay in there? No. It might be a day, might be 2 days. You know, they've already started building the narrative through the media that Rikers Island is getting prepared for Trump's visit. They've already corned off a section for him. Yeah, they've already been building that narrative that he's going to go to jail.
And the Secret Service would have to turn him over? Like, how does that go?
No, the Secret Service would still be there protecting him.
So they're going to be in jail with him? Come on.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, okay, so let me go down my conspiracy side of things and tell you that the real Trump is 100% insulated. He is safe. So everything else you're seeing is for optics and red pills.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do that. But if they do, it is going to backfire on them tremendously. And here's the other thing. Trump has been really good about setting precedents, pushing his taxes to the Supreme Court. Now you can go see the taxes on anybody and everybody. The immunity thing, pushing that all the way to the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. So when I talk about Trump setting a precedent here, in the people's minds, they see a former president that just went to jail. So when the EBS takes off and military tribunals have been shown and everything, when they show Obama being arrested or they show Hillary being arrested, the deep state can't say crap.
Okay. I hear you, but
I know
it's really bothering me because I'm like, okay, just like I told you before. You said, last night you said you was gonna send me an article or something about the vice president,
the VP thing. Yeah, I went to look at it. Yeah, I didn't get a chance today because once I got home from work like at 5 o'clock and I made that video real quick. So and I tried to look it up real quick, but I will look that up for you. I'll get that for you.
But that's the thing on the point of presidents. So if they do something that they've never done before and it happens, and then he can go after them, and then that's what Oprah said, not retribution, because they don't want him seeking retribution.
Right.
So if he's changed, then what's to say that literally everything that we know of us, like everything that it functions the way right now, is not going to function like that anymore. It's going to be a new normal. Like once again, we're going to see things that have never been done before. So what's going to happen when he starts locking people up? Division, civil war? Like
the thing is okay. So what have they been trying to use to lock Trump up? They've been using their fake cases. They've been using their fake whistleblowers, like that E. Jean Carroll lady who's making up crap. They've been using fake stuff. They used the fake dossier report that Hillary actually paid for. They used the fake impeachment and all these things that he's been saying. They've turned it around. Suckers. He called them suckers and losers. Oh, he said mighty fine people on both sides. So they've been using all this fake stuff. The difference is when stuff is revealed about Obama, about Hillary, about Biden, it will be hardcore evidence for the American people to see. And they will be able to tell that this information that's being put out is real and true. And then
But
they
some of that has been already true, like the Clinton,
some
Tara Reid, and
yeah,
Monica, and then Biden had some. So they try to do the same thing, like, oh, he's a rapist, or he's like, he did SA, sexual assault. But those men have actually done it, and those women came out opposing them.
yeah,
And those
yeah,
were real women, real stories. Not this Carol Lee Jean, whatever her name is, about Trump. That was completely fake and made up.
yeah. What you've been seeing for a while has been a drip, drip, drip of information, true information, to help wake the people up. As for example, when the Hunter Biden laptop came out, what did the media say? Oh, this is Russian disinformation. It's all bullcrap. But what have we learned since then?
Is real, and the diary of Ashley.
Exactly. So that falls into the category of drip, 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 because you can't put all the information, all the true information, what's been really going on. You can't drop that on the American public. They can't handle it.
They don't want to believe it.
Well, it's like they can't. When I say they can't handle it, it's kind of like, I'll use you as an example, Ruby. When I put that video up the other day with the child stuff,
Okay.
you're not ready to see that.
No, I'm not.
So imagine if all this ton of information was just dropped on you. Oh God, is that Tim? Is that Tim Walls?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Oh God. Okay. Oh God, he's so gay.
It's like you're literally cheering for pedophiles, for men who are predators. Like,
that's what they do.
that's crazy and disgusting.
Oh, and he's using a Bruce Springsteen song, Biggest Liberal.
Thank you.
Gee, that would be funny, San Diego.
Imagine.
That would be
That
hilarious.
would be a good thing, though.
That would be hilarious. I heard that on
Yeah.
Will Cow today. That would be hilarious.
First of all, to Vice President Harris, thanks for putting your trust in me and for inviting me to be part of this incredible campaign.
Why does he remind me of Droopy, the cartoon character?
And a thank you,
Who?
President
Droopy?
Joe Biden.
Yeah, Droopy, look him up.
4 years
Droopy.
of strong, historic leadership.
Yep. Yep, it's the cheeks.
It's the honor
Yeah.
of my life
Yep.
to accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States.
Whose nomination? Yours? Who's you?
Wow.
We're all here tonight for one beautiful, simple reason. We love this country. So thank you to all of you here in Chicago and all of you watching at home tonight. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your determination. And most of all, thank you for bringing the joy to this fight.
Joy. Joy.
Yeah,
That's,
like 10 times they said it tonight. Joy.
they've been saying that.
Now, I grew up in Butte, Nebraska, a town of 400 people.
Scrooge.
I
Yeah.
had 24 kids in my high school class, and none of them went to Yale. But I'll tell you what, growing up in a small town like that, you learn how to take care of each other. That family down the road, they may not think like you do, They may not pray like you do. They may not love like you do.
Oh, that's the
But
same
they're your
speech that
neighbors.
Oprah gave.
Yeah.
And you look out for them, and they look out for you. Everybody belongs, and everybody has a
don't. They don't belong.
responsibility to contribute. For me, it was serving in the Army National Guard.
Oh, don't you even go there, buddy.
I joined up 2 days after my 17th birthday, and I proudly wore our nation's uniform for 24 years.
I guarantee you he won't say how much time he spent in China over the last 30 years.
A Korean War era Army veteran died of lung cancer a couple years later. He left behind a mountain of medical debt. Thank God for Social Security survivor benefits. And thank God for the GI Bill that allowed my dad and me to go to college, and millions of other Americans. Eventually, like the rest of my family, I fell in love with teaching. Three
So I can be around little boys.
Teachers.
Uh-oh.
I wound up teaching social studies and coaching football at Mankato West High School.
And had his stomach pumped for drinking horse semen.
I read about that.
We ran a
How do you
40-4
mistakenly
defense.
that? That don't make
We
sense.
played through to the whistle on every single play, and we even won a state championship. Never closed the yearbook, people. But it was those players and my students who inspired me to run for Congress. They saw in me what I had hoped to instill in them, a commitment to the common good, an understanding that we're all in this together, and the belief that a single person can make a real difference for their neighbors.
Oh,
So there
wow.
I was,
John Marciano.
a
I
40-something
see
high
it
school
now.
teacher
Biden double. Look at
with
his
little
face, the
kids,
eyes, the
zero
nose, the
political
forehead.
experience,
Oh, wow.
and no money
If
running
you stare
in
at
a
him
deep
long enough,
red
you'll start
district.
seeing Biden.
Yeah. Oh,
But you know what?
yeah.
But like
Never
a younger
underestimate
version.
a public school teacher. Never.
Oh, that's interesting.
I just noticed that,
I
yeah.
represented my neighbors in Congress for 12 years, and I learned an awful lot. I learned how to work across the aisle on issues like growing the rural economies and taking care of veterans. And I learned how to compromise without compromising my values.
Bullshit.
Then I came back to serve as governor, and we got right to work making a difference in our neighbors' lives. We
By burning
cut
everything
taxes
down in the
for
city.
middle class. We passed paid family and medical leave. We invested in fighting crime and affordable housing. We cut the cost of prescription drugs and helped people escape the kind of medical debt that nearly sank my family. And we made sure that every kid in our state gets breakfast and lunch every day. So while other states were banning books from their schools, we were banishing hunger from ours.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
We also protected reproductive freedom because in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make.
How many abortions did Minnesota have
If
under his
we
governorship?
make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
Oh, really? 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 Mind your
That
own.
includes IVF and fertility treatments. And this is personal for Gwen and I. If you've never experienced the hell that is infertility, I guarantee you, you know somebody who has. And I can remember praying each night for a phone call. The pit in your stomach when the phone had rang, and the absolute agony when we heard the treatments hadn't worked. It took Gwen and I years, but we had access to fertility treatments.
Wow,
And when
Tiffany.
our daughter was born, we named her Hope. Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Oh my God, look at them. They're
I'm letting you
weeping.
in on how we started a family, because this is a big part about what this election is about.
Yep.
Freedom. When Republicans use the word freedom, they mean that the government should be free to invade your doctor's office.
Oh,
Corporations free to pollute your air and water. And banks free to take advantage of customers.
Oh my God.
But when we Democrats talk about freedom, we mean the freedom to make a better life for yourself and the people that you love. Freedom to make your own healthcare decisions.
Oh, really?
And yet,
Tax people
your
that don't
kids'
have.
freedom to go to school without worrying about being shot dead in the hall.
Oh,
Wow.
yikes.
Look, I know guns. I'm a veteran. I'm a hunter. And I was a better shot than most Republicans in Congress, and I got the trophies to prove it.
Well, maybe you should have been in Butler,
But I'm
Pennsylvania.
also a dad. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe our first responsibility is to keep our kids safe. That's what this is all about. The responsibility we have to our kids, to each other, and to the future that we're building together, in which
Wow.
everyone is free to
You're
build
all
the kind of life they want. But not everyone has that same sense of responsibility. Some folks just don't understand what it takes to be a good neighbor. Take Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Oh, stop.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
Their Project 2025 will make things much, much harder for people who are just trying to live their lives.
There you go. Liar.
They spent a lot of time pretending they know nothing about this. But look, I coached high school football long enough to know, and trust me on this, when somebody takes the time to draw up a playbook, they're going to use it.
Oh, wow.
There you go. He just told you. He just told
And
everybody.
we know if these guys get back in the White House, they'll start jacking up the costs on the middle class. They'll repeal the Affordable Care Act. They'll gut Social Security and Medicare.
Oh, really?
And they will ban abortion across this country with or without Congress.
Trump said he wouldn't do that.
Yep.
Now, he wouldn't do that.
Here's the
It's up to
thing.
He
the
hasn't.
states.
It's an agenda nobody asked for. It's an agenda that serves nobody except the richest and the most extreme amongst us.
No.
Every time they
no.
talk, always think the
That
opposite.
does nothing for our neighbors
Exactly.
in need.
But that's how they
Is it
view us. This
weird?
is how the enemy thinks
Absolutely.
about us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But it's also wrong. And it's dangerous. It's not just me saying so. It's Trump's own people. They were with him for 4 years. They're warning us that the next 4 years will be much, much worse. You know, when I was teaching every year, we'd elect a student body president. And you know what? Those teenagers could
Exactly,
teach Donald
Jennifer.
Trump a hell of a lot
Yes,
about what
Jennifer.
a leader is. Leaders don't spend
There you
all
go. That
day
terrorist right
Oh,
there.
insulting
my
people and
God.
blaming others. Leaders do the work.
She's not even
So I
American.
don't know about you. I'm ready to turn the page on these guys. So go ahead. Say it with me. We're not going back.
There we go. There it is again.
Wow.
We've got something better to offer the American people. It starts with our candidate, Kamala Harris. From her first day as a prosecutor, as a district attorney, as an attorney general, as a United States senator, and then our vice president, she's fought on the side of the American people. She's
What?
taken on the predators
Really?
and fraudsters. She's taken down the transnational gangs, and she stood up to powerful corporate interests. She has never hesitated to reach across that aisle if it meant improving your lives. And she's
What
always
lies?
done it
This dude,
with energy, with passion, and with joy.
Joy again.
Joy.
Wow, the repetition is
Folks,
crazy. Wow.
Yes.
We've got a chance to make Kamala Harris the next president of the United States.
Hell no. Hell no.
This is the first time I've ever seen him speak.
But I
Me
think
too.
we owe it to the American people to tell them exactly what she'd do as president before we ask them for their votes. So here, this is the part, clip and save it and send it to your undecided relatives so they know.
He looks like a governing body member.
If you're a middle-class family or a family trying to get into the middle class, Kamala Harris is going to cut your taxes.
No, she ain't.
If you're getting squeezed by prescription drug prices, Kamala Harris is going to take on Big Pharma.
No, she ain't.
If you're hoping to buy a home, Kamala Harris is going to help make it more affordable.
If you're an illegal alien,
And no matter who you are, Kamala Harris is going to stand up and fight for your freedom to live the life that you want to lead.
after she gets off her knees.
Because that's what we want for ourselves, and it's what we want for our neighbors.
Sorry.
You know, you might not know it, but I haven't given a lot of big speeches like this. But I have given a lot of pep talks. So let me finish with this.
Well, you're not
team.
qualified, huh?
It's the fourth quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball. We're driving down the field. Boy, do we have the right team. Kamala Harris is tough. Kamala Harris is experienced, and Kamala Harris is ready. Our job.
Is she even there
Our
tonight?
job,
I don't know. They haven't shown her.
Our job for everyone
Nope,
watching
I don't even think
is
she's
to
there.
get in the trenches and do the blocking and tackling. 1 inch at a time, 1 yard at a time, one phone call at a time, one door knock at a time.
Don't come to my door.
One $5 donation at a time.
Oh, give us our money. Sounds like the governing body.
We got 76 days. That's nothing. There'll be time to sleep when you're dead. We're going to leave it on the field. That's how we'll keep moving forward. That's how we'll turn the page on Donald Trump. That's how we'll build a country where workers come first. Healthcare and housing are human rights. And the government stays the hell out of your bedroom. That's how we make America a place where no child is left hungry, where no community is left behind, where nobody gets told they don't belong. That's how we're gonna fight. And as the next president of the United States always says, when we fight, when we fight, when we fight, thank you. God bless.
Oh my God. That was freaking hilarious. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen him speak. Totally not impressed with Droopy. That's his new name. That's what I'm gonna call him.
Yup.
He's Droopy. He is definitely Droopy.
Hi, Jesse.
Hello.
Hey, Jesse.
How you doing, Jimmy? How you guys doing, Ruby?
We've been doing good. We've been holding down the fort tonight.
Yep.
Wow, that was tough, huh? It's hard to listen to these guys.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. What are they? Is he a guy or a girl? What does he identify as?
He identifies as a drinker of horse semen and steals valor, military valor.
Hey, and then to add insult to injury, he says, "God bless."
Wow. These people. It was funny when he said, we want to take care of each other, but he's the one that bailed out on his unit was it Iraq? Yeah. He bailed out of his unit. So he didn't go and help his comrades when they went into battle in Iraq. He left the military.
He bailed on his state.
Yeah, he did that. Well, he did that too by allowing BLM to burn it up.
Hey, these white guys, these white liberals, Martin
Yep.
Luther King was right about these white liberals.
Yes, he was.
X.
Do you know that story, Ruby? What Malcolm X said about white liberals?
Yes, I saw the clips and I saw the movie with Denzel, and that was my uncle told me I have to watch it. So he sat down with me and watched it with me. That's why I love you guys as well, because you remind me of him. That was another awakening thing when he showed me about Malcolm X, and then he used to say the line in the movie that those blue-eyed devils are evil, and we used to laugh. But yeah, it's true. I believe it.
Yeah, he said
They're all white liberals. Look, Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, Waltz, Barack Obama. They're all white liberals.
Yeah, they try to look at themselves as being the most diverse, inclusive party, but have they really shown much diversiveness on here? I don't think so.
No.
They're progressive.
They'll betray their country so hard. I mean, just so fast.
Yeah.
They're on steroids to betray their country.
How many people do we have watching tonight? So I can't see the chat.
It says 20.
20. Yeah.
20. Oh, nice. Okay, that's good. Cool. All right, cool. That's cool.
Hey, Tad counts for 2 because he's across the international date line.
I love Tad. I love Tad. He's pretty cool. I like him. I love to have conversation with him. So he's pretty cool. Wow. I just can't believe this convention is ridiculous.
Now, John Marciano, he says Droopy might be sleepy too.
I don't know. He was doing that same gesture, this gesture right here. Right, hold on. He was doing that same gesture that Biden does.
Oh, Bill Clinton used to do that.
Yeah, Bill Clinton. Yeah, okay, yeah, he did it too. And so.
And you know what? If you listen to all the old, I remember when John F. Kennedy used to do that. So I think they were trying to channel John F. Kennedy. If you go back and watch the old John F. Kennedy videos.
John F. Kennedy his head would explode if he would see the DNC as it is today.
Yeah, but
he would explode because it's completely changed.
Well,
and
he would sleep with their wives first, and then his head would explode.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, this Democratic Party is not the Democratic Party, even from 96 and 2008. I did a video today about that, but I don't know if we want to get into that yet, Ruby, or we want to talk about this still.
Yeah, do you? Yeah. Okay, so let's.
If you want to do that video that I did this evening, since we're showing how the Democratic Party has changed. Okay. It's about 12 minutes, folks.
Yep.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I wanted to come on here this afternoon and share some information with you guys about some things that the Democratic Party has said in the past about immigration. The reason I want to do that is because we can see that their views have completely changed and have gone far left since 1996 and 2008, and I've got the proof for you. I know there's a lot of people out there that are listening to the mainstream media, and they, for lack of better words, have bleeding hearts, saying, oh, but we've got to accept these people. They're looking for a better life. We shouldn't call them criminals. Let's call them newcomers. And you know, they just want what's best for their family and their lives. Okay, I get that. I do. And I'm all about humanitarian goals and folks having a better life. But when it comes to immigration here in the United States, it needs to be done legally. Have no problem with that. But anyway, I didn't want to go too far into that because that's a whole nother conversation. But you kind of get the gist of where I stand on that. Now, what I'm about ready to show you is information that Bill Clinton and Barack Obama both said. First, I'm going to start off with some information from the Wright Report today. And as you listen to this information, picture Donald Trump being the one saying this. And then ask yourself, oh man, what would the media say if what Bill Clinton and Barack Obama say, what would they say if it was Trump? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just see the corruption, the manipulation, the propaganda. But let me go ahead and start first with the Wright Report and what he says, and then I'll go into Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. So let me flip the camera and just listen up.
Second, former President Barack Obama headlined last night's list of DNC speakers. Tonight will be former President Bill Clinton. And I think those two gentlemen give us a very important opportunity to reflect this morning on the state of our union and the state of the Democrat Party. And to do that, let me pivot now to analysis and opinion. Folks, if you're like me, party politics are second to doing the right thing. And one of my favorite quotes to that end is from Jack Kennedy in 1958 when he said, "Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer." So I offer that to you this morning and ask that we think about that as we consider what is going on at the DNC convention, but not the one this week. Rather, let's go back to the one that was held in 1996. That is when Democrats were nominating Bill Clinton for re-election, and he offered up the right answer as he and they saw it on the issue of immigration. And here it is, the Democrat Party's platform in 1996 on immigration. Quote, "Today's Democratic Party also believes that we must remain a nation of laws. We cannot tolerate illegal immigration, and we must stop it. For years before Bill Clinton became president, Washington, D.C. talked tough, but failed to act. In 1992, our borders might as well not have existed. The border was under-patrolled, and what patrols there were under-equipped. Drugs flowed freely, illegal immigration was rampant, criminal immigrants deported after they committed crimes in America returned the very next day to commit crimes again. President Clinton is making our border a place where the law is respected and drugs and illegal immigrants are turned away." End quote. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the Democrat Party in 1996. Next, in 2008, Democrats gathered to nominate Barack Obama for the first time for the presidency, and he too laid out his vision for the country on a range of issues to include immigration. And here is that vision, the Democrat Party's platform from 2008. Quote, "We cannot continue to allow people to enter the United States undetected, undocumented, and unchecked. The American people are a welcoming and generous people, but those who enter our country's borders illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law. We need to secure our borders and support additional personnel, infrastructure, and technology on the border and at our ports of entry." End quote. Folks, that was the Democrat Party in 2008. And now here we are, just 16 years later, and both Mr. Clinton and Mr. Obama will or have just taken the stage in Chicago to talk yet again about America. But not the America that they once advocated for back in 96 or in 08. That America and that party is dead and gone. Now the border is open. Now illegal aliens are referred to as newcomers by their party. Now, when an illegal commits a crime, they are actually kept safe and protected in sanctuary cities run by Democrats. And we are told that actually migrants commit fewer crimes than you do, my fellow Americans. And if you challenge any of that, if you say the exact same thing the Democrats were saying in 96 or in 08, you are a bigot or a racist or you are conservative. But that's not true. It's just a lazy smear. It's their attempt to distract us from how far left that party has gone. But we know the truth, don't we? Jack Kennedy, he had it right. And so too did Clinton back in 96 and Obama in 08, as they said to us, laws matter, borders matter, common sense matters, and doing the right thing, no matter your party affiliation, that matters. And that is important for us to remember this morning. I think, to take a step back and remind ourselves of how we used to be and how far this country has fallen so very quickly. Now, I don't expect Mr. Clinton or Mr. Obama to admit that. They would rather tell you that actually the threat is you, like your so-called conservative beliefs about the border or illegal aliens. As ever, folks, this, I think, helps remind us of two things. First, we are not the crazy ones. The proof is in those party platforms from not that long ago. Second, we've got one heck of a challenge ahead of us, don't we, to keep this republic? So many crises and problems. But as we tackle those issues, I want again to remind us of the wise counsel of Jack Kennedy. Let us find the right answer, folks, no matter our party or politics. Because if we use that as our North Star, then all these hypocritical politicians will ultimately just be a distraction. And we will get this country back on track, one issue and one long day at a time. And with that, later.
Okay, so that was the Democratic National Convention party platform back in 2008 and in 1996. Now, let's listen to exactly what Bill Clinton said back in 1996.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop them.
All right, so that was Bill Clinton back in 1996. Here's Barack Obama back in 2008.
This is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be some instant amnesty. What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying illegally. But after you've done these things over a certain period of time, you can earn your citizenship, so that it's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it, but over time, you give people an opportunity. Now, it only works though if you do all the pieces.
Here you go.
I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration, but they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it.
Oh,
so
really?
we got to deal with that at the same time as we deal in a humane fashion with folks who have put down roots here, have become our neighbors, have become our friends. They may have children who are U.S. citizens. That's the kind of comprehensive approach that we have to take. All right?
So, isn't it very interesting stance that Bill Clinton had and Barack Obama had on immigration back then? If Donald Trump were, and he said these things, and he's been vilified by the media, called names, conservatives like myself and many others, oh, we're thought to be heartless and that we don't care about our fellow human beings. But again, both of them called for the rule of law. Trump's doing the same thing, calling for rule of law. So the internet is forever. And if you are listening and believing what the Democratic Party today is presenting to you about immigration, then I'm sorry to tell you, you're being lied to. You're being fooled by the propaganda of a party, the Democratic Party, that has gone so far left that it's not even recognizable today. So just think about this stuff.
Hey,
And anyway, so that's what I have for this afternoon. I hope you're all well.
Go ahead.
Jimmy, I wanted to add something. I wanted to add something to what you were saying. I agree with you 100%, but I just want to add, because I followed the campaign since 72. Well, since they crucified my Lord, I've been following the campaign. But I was there when they shot Lincoln, when they shot Kennedy. And if you live in the spirit, we were there. But I remember the 92 campaign. I remember the 72 campaign. I remember the 96 campaign. And there was patriots. There was patriots like us. I was a Jehovah's Witness elder, a ministerial servant at that time, but I was always preaching this stuff. And I don't know, it's a miracle I never got this fellowship. But anyways, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama never believed what you just played. They didn't. It's what the senator called boo bait for the bubbas. Yep. And people like Rush Limbaugh, people like Ronald Reagan, people like George W. Bush, people like Sarah Palin, people like Barry Goldwater, people like just you name it. Every Republican, Bob Dole in 96, we were telling everybody, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. Bill Clinton was triangulating what Nixon did in 72, campaign in the right, govern in the middle.
Yep.
So Bill Clinton, if you remember, he was one of the moderate Democrat governors who acted Republican, but governed like a liberal, a hardcore liberal. It's like calling Barack Obama a Christian. We all know he's not. Remember when he was running for president, he said that he believed in a husband and a wife, male-female marriage. And when he becomes president, he doesn't. All marriage goes to hell. So these people are chronic liars. And there's always been, every decade, people who have been out there saying, these guys are liars. They're lying through your teeth. And they're vilified by the press. For example, Bill, who is Donald Trump running against as president?
The deep state.
Exactly. Some people will say Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. No, he's not. He's running against CNN. He's running against the deep state. He's running against NBC. If you notice, you know why Kamala Harris doesn't debate? Because all the reporters are doing their job. They're debating Trump.
Yep.
Yeah. So these people are chronic liars. Bill Clinton never meant what he was said. It was boo bait for the bubbas.
Yep.
So he acted like a conservative to get those votes. So maybe he got 5 or 6% vote. But on a 50-50, that would give him the swing. So he was a chronic liar. So they never meant a word they said in 96 or 2000. Not a word.
And that goes to show they're doing the same exact thing here in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It's
okay, wait. But question. If you're saying that they didn't believe in what they were running on, then how can we even believe them for what they do really believe in? So how can you tell whether or not they're telling the truth of how they actually feel, or are they just pandering to the group of people that they want to vote for them? So how do you know?
Pete Buttigieg nurses his baby.
Okay, I tried to look that up.
You can't believe nothing that comes out of their mouth. It's called boo bait for the bubbas.
Yeah.
Nothing. They don't tell you. You'll go to the dinner with them. You pick them up, and you think you're dating a girl, and you're not. You go home and you find out she's a guy. You can't believe nothing that Democrats say. They talk about God and God bless America, and they have an abortion clinic behind.
Yeah.
No, I know, I get that, but then how do you believe what they? So then, how do you know what they actually believe in? And then
I can answer that.
If they tell you to go right, go left. If they tell you it's poison, drink it. If they tell you it's good for you, don't take it. Everything is a lie.
And here's an example. Ruby. Whenever the Democratic or whenever the deep state passes a bill in Congress or whatever, they put a fancy little name on it. So, for example, they call it the Affordable Care Act. What do Americans hear? They hear affordable.
Right.
But it is so far of not it's not affordable. Another example, the Inflation Reduction Act. That sounds good, but it didn't bring down inflation. Or the Patriot Act. You hear the word patriot and you think, oh, that's good for America. Yeah, this is what we need to be doing. Yay, patriots. But
Social Security.
it violated your Fourth Amendment right.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with being a patriot. So when they say in these speeches, oh, we want to protect gun rights, you think the opposite. No, they don't. They want to protect. They want to protect free speech. You think the opposite. No, they don't. They want to censor everybody that speaks out against them. Always think the opposite of what they say.
Okay, but they could say the same thing about us, though, about Republicans. So what I'm trying to say is, so how do you know to actually believe somebody when they say something, and when they say something that's socialist or communist or moderate or left or right? So how do you really believe them if what you're saying is, oh, if they say something, think the opposite? So when do you believe them?
Watch their actions. Actions speak louder than words.
Okay.
And it's a long ball. It's long ball. Look.
Yeah.
I told you about 72, 76. We lost. We lost when they shot Lincoln. We lost when they shot Kennedy. We lost. We lose a lot. And you have to learn. Look, today, this Mexican-American business guy came up. He only speaks Spanish, and I do business with him. And he goes, Jesse, I hadn't seen him in a while. He came to my office, and he's sitting there, and he's big-time pro-Trump. And he was shaking his head. He's shaking his head, and he goes, hey, I got to confess to you, Jesse. I didn't listen to you. I voted for Biden the last time. It was, it ain't going to happen no more. And we were talking about it. But this is what I mean, that it's a long game. We have to plant seeds everywhere, at every dinner table, just like Rush Limbaugh did. Rush Limbaugh did it till the day he died. Yeah. Richard Nixon did it till the day he died. We all did it. Sarah Palin did it till they ran her out of town. There's been people who have been fighting this fight for 50, 60, 70 years.
Yes.
You're new to the game. There's people who have been around 50, 60, 70 years fighting this game. And we always plant seeds. Because people are going to see, like Jimmy Bell said, the fruit will come out at the end. They're going to see it, and they're going to say, oh, my God, I just gave up my country.
Yeah.
Right. By the time you wake up, it's already gone. So it's like, how do you stop? You got to wake up, really.
Well, this is what's going to happen, I think. Like, what I think is there's going to be a lot of our Democrat brothers and sisters who are going to secretly, when they go into the ballot, they're going to have a date with their conscience. They're going to vote for Trump. They're not going to tell nobody. Because then they'll lose friendships, they'll lose family. They hate Trump so much that they can't admit that they vote for him. People are embarrassed. They're embarrassed of Trump. Like, for instance, look at Joe Rogan. Look at Joe Rogan and Donald Trump. You think they have a good relationship. But if you listen to the words he says, he sounds like one of those Jehovah's Witnesses who's always embarrassed of Jesus.
Yeah.
They're always embarrassed of, like, you'll see Joe Rogan and he'll say, well, Trump has his problems too. Why do you have to preface it that? What war did Trump start? Why do you have to preface it that Trump has problems? It's a given. We are all sinners. We all do bad things. But he's not the one opening the border. You don't have to give your enemy 1 inch. What I'm saying is, if you give Bill Clinton 1 inch, if you give Barack Obama, Eric Holder 1 inch, they're going to take that inch and stab you in the back.
Yeah.
All is fair in love and war. And they'll take any inch and they'll take us.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
You know what? The other day,
we can't afford that mistake, though, Jesse. So even the people who are still asleep and they believe the lies, we can't afford that.
And Ruby, this is why you're doing what you're doing right now with your platform.
Boom! Great point, Jimmy.
This is why I do what I do with my platform.
Jimmy, great point. Wow. Great point, Jimmy.
We are the news now. And we are fighting this information war. And guess what? We're winning.
I didn't think of that. Thank you, Jimmy. I didn't think of that, man.
You're welcome.
That's why you do what you do, Ruby. That's why Gilbert does what. That's what Jimmy does what he does. Yes.
And if we educate or if we help educate folks on this stuff, and they have a light bulb moment, if they feel compelled to, then they're going to start doing YouTube videos, or they're going to start talking to other people. And that's how you take down the deep state, because you're giving people the power of knowledge. Something that the deep state has tried to keep away from the American people and people worldwide for a very long time.
Great points.
Right. But I think I go a little bit deeper, and it might sound extreme, but in my opinion, you have to abolish the evil. You have to abolish the lies.
Oh,
So if the
100%.
Democratic Party is doing that, then we need to get rid of them. They need to be destroyed. They need to
Let
be
me go ahead. Let me go ahead and tell you this right here. I'll tell you this one thing. When this comes from the Q Post. When it's all said and done, the Democratic Party will cease to exist.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, they can't survive for too long like this. Like,
No, that's why they're bringing in all the illegals, because they're trying to replace the people they're losing.
Correct.
right.
And you know what Rush Limbaugh used to always preach? I remember, because I listened to it for over 30 years, and something he said interesting. You never want to get rid of the liberals all 100%. You want to keep some of them in a museum.
Yeah.
You want to keep them in a museum because you want to remember the things that they believed in.
Right.
So we don't repeat the mistakes.
But see, and that's why the left wants to tear down statues. That's why they want to change history, because they are trying. It's just like the Watchtower. The Watchtower has been deleting all their information because they don't want the new generation of hopeful Watchtower freaking zombies to find out about.
Right. And hold on, let me just clarify that, because I think the Democratic Party has probably been infiltrated by the deep state a very long time ago, because I am
Yes.
pro like ideas. I do believe that we should have a diversity of ideologies, but not this way, not with deception, not with lies.
Correct.
If they were moderate and they were real Democrats that were America first and they were just left leaning, I would want that. Like, I want them to come back to what they actually stand for. But I don't see that right now. All I see is lies and deception.
It's not going to happen.
But
I do.
Why can't they take their party back?
It's too far gone.
Who's the best Democrat out there? There's a lot of great Democrats, but who would you classify in the United States as one of the greatest Democrats? One that you love?
I can't even name one. I don't.
Okay, I don't know why, but I have an affinity. I don't know why. I'm a true conservative, but I love Bobby Kennedy. I don't know what it is. It's nostalgia in me. I just cannot. Even though he has some things that are very liberal, I like Bobby Kennedy.
The last true Democrat holding up the values, Ruby, that you would want them to go back to, is JFK.
Yes. But there's redeemable quality in Robert Kennedy Jr. is that he loves his country. I know he's a liberal. But we can work with a liberal who loves his country.
Exactly.
Loves the country. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why RFK is going to endorse Trump here at the end of this week.
You think so, Jimmy?
100%.
I don't know. I hope so. Don't get me wrong.
He's going to drop out. Okay, y'all mark this down, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong or not. It's been a while since somebody's been telling me I'm wrong, but mark it down. He's going to drop out of the presidential race.
I got 20 on that. I got 20.
Okay. All right, I got 20. He's going to drop out of the race on Friday. He's going to put his support behind Trump. And don't be surprised when Trump gets into office that he makes RFK a member of his cabinet.
Right. That's what's gonna happen. Well, guys, I have to go now. We've been here for like almost 3 hours, but I truly appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining, Jesse. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, everybody. I had such a great night. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey, thank you for the great points. I learned a lot.
All right. Y'all have a great evening. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.